Welcome to another episode of Discourse. It's the end of the year, and that means it's time for another round of our annual awards. In this episode, we're going to update our list for bands that released new material this year, reveal our favorite EPs of 2025, and of course, go through each of our top 5 albums of the year. My name is Nathan. With me, as always, are Kyle and Jeff. Gentlemen, 'tis the season. I am so excited for this episode because there was so much good music this year. And arguably a lot of bad music this year, some of which we may have to talk about this episode. Fellas, how are you feeling?
I think there was a lot of music that came out this year, both good and bad. It averaged out because there's some, we'll talk about it, but there's some dang near unlistable stuff, but also some beautiful masterpieces. So
Yeah.
I'm thrilled.
The
I'm pumped
highs
up.
were really high and the lows were pretty low.
But I would argue overall, I'd say a really good year for the scene's music, in my opinion, at least, because even
I would
though there
agree.
were quite a few lows, I think the highs really are great. And so I think there's a lot of good stuff to talk about.
The highs
Yeah.
carried hard. And it's weird because, like, in my opinion, a lot of the bands that we've covered in the past that we're going to be updating our list for kind of failed to show up this year. I don't know if their head
Yeah.
wasn't in the game or what, but a lot of the younger bands, so to speak, man, we got some really fresh material this year. Really inventive, really creative, really excellent music, pushing the boundaries of alternative music in really exciting ways that the heavy hitters of old are just simply unable to compete with, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's almost like a passing of the torch in a way. All these young bands
Kind
are
of.
emerging and finally breaking out into kind of the mainstream of the scene and becoming
Mhm.
huge, where the older bands are kind of stagnating.
For sure. I think we're definitely seeing some of that this year. And I think we're going to have a really interesting episode because of it. So, without too much dilly dally, we'll plug the social media. Then we'll go ahead and get into this because we have a lot of music to talk about in this one.
Are we putting in new albums of bands we've ranked first, or are we going to start
Yeah.
off with like, okay, so we're not
I
going to
think we'll
start
do
off
that first.
positive with like EP
No.
of the year.
No,
and then
let's
go
end on a
back?
high note.
No, yeah, we
I-
got to
I
end
like-
the
I
year on
like
a high
that.
note for sure.
I just want I don't mean to like put everyone at the edge of their seat, but my EP of the year I am so excited to talk about. That's
I'm on the
that's
edge
all
of
I'm
my
listening.
seat.
I'm so excited. You guys
Me
are going to
too.
be pretty surprised because
I'm also excited for this.
It scratches an itch, and it's an itch I usually don't have. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, to plug the social real quick, and because I know now everyone is certainly on the edge of their seat. If you want to join the discourse, you can follow us on Twitter at discog_pod, on TikTok at discog_discourse, and on Instagram at discog.discourse. We also have a Patreon for anyone who might be interested in supporting the show. There, you'll get bonus episodes like the one that's coming out alongside this. And this is a big bonus episode. It's our biggest bonus episode of the year. In it, we expand our top 5 albums of the year into a full-fledged, bona fide top 10. So if you want to hear each of us talk about 5 more albums after this, go check that out. We'll also do runner-up EPs of the year, and we had our diehard patrons rank this year's episodes, so you can hear our reactions to that over there. I think if you're going to dish it out, you got to be able to take it. And traditionally in this episode, we would rank all of the bands we covered this year. But because, we were kind of in and out host wise, I thought it'd be fun to have them tell us what was good about our own show or bad about our own show. And so that was a fun little exercise. I think it led to some pretty funny discussions. Also, whatever platform you're listening on, like, comment, subscribe, leave a 5-star review. The algorithms love that, and it helps us out a lot. And now, without further ado, we're going to start updating our lists for bands that put out new material this year.
Yeah. Come on. Let's get that energy up. I'm fired
Get that
up.
energy up. I do think in the past we've kind of said, "Oh, if you want to update your list, we have one episode to do that." Guys, I think this is that episode, and I think we shake that up a little bit. I think as we're looking at our list, anytime a band that we've covered puts out a new album, might be a good time to reflect on our mistakes of the past, what we still agree with and stand by, And if we want to make any updates at this point, it seems like a kind of good time to do it.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm down. Let's rip it.
And one last thing. If one of these albums is going to show up in our later discussion, i.e., our top 5, we're going to table it. And we're not going to talk about it in this segment, and we will talk about it there. Just as a temperature check, I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of that, but it may happen a couple times. So, fellas, the first album we're here to update is going to be Architects, The Sky, the Earth, and All Between.
All right.
Is this the best Architects album since Holy Hell? I mean, let's just be real.
I think so.
I think it is
I
too.
think it is.
I genuinely think that it is. I think there are songs on here that I actually like, and I can't
There are
really say that
highs
for
on this album.
I think For Those That Wish to Exist is better than this, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I don't.
I think it's by kind of a significant amount. There are interesting things happening on that album, and I don't think there's anything interesting happening on here.
What?
Sure, for Those That Wish to Exist is kind of a Bring Me the Horizon thing, but it's way better than this.
Dude, Brain Dead on this album is a really, really strong song. And like it's a type of song that Architects hadn't done before. It's almost a punk song with
It
the
is
pace
very
and the
punk
chorus. In my opinion, it's the best song in the album, and I think it's really, 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 really strong song.
Yeah.
I think it's the best song on the album too, and I do think it's good, but I think there are songs as good and better on For Those That Wish to Exist.
Like,
Wow. I think also Elegy is a phenomenal opener. Cole is pretty good. Like I think that you feel the vintage Architects more in this album than you do in For Those That Wish to Exist. Like, I feel like you're getting that callback of the power and the emotion that you felt with Holy Hell, All Our Gods, and Lost Forever. Like it's not on that level. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like there are whispers and like a flash in the pan of it, and I really, really enjoy that. And maybe I'm wrong.
Interesting.
Maybe I'm alone here.
Kyle, I agree with you. Like there are songs on here, Whiplash, Brain Dead, Evil Eyes, Curse, Seeing Red, that genuinely bring a kind of energy that I don't really think you found in their previous 2 albums before this. And so when I said, is this the best Architects album since Holy Hell, it's because of these songs that are actually bringing some true energetic screaming and fun and heaviness that we're missing, I felt like. I do think there are some misses on here, don't get me wrong.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I think I'm also jaded against this album because the last 2 album cycles, especially the last one, when they were on The Classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit, their whole persona at that time was, oh, our fans don't like us because we're not heavy anymore. I wish I never did the bleh. It's a stupid noise. We're a different band now. They were just really pretentious about their change in sound and really dug into like, we're not doing heavy anymore. We've matured. We're better musicians than we were then, and all this kind of stuff around that. And so then to go back and do a song like Seeing Red, which I think even that one kind of comes off as our fans don't like us because we're not heavy anymore. And then it's a heavy song. So it's like ironic. And then he does a bleh to kind of call back to that whole comment and discourse around that. It comes off as very disingenuous.
Maybe he's recognizing how ridiculous it is.
That's how it comes off to me. I just feel like a lot of this album is Architects on cruise control, trying to make the most generic and broadly appealing metalcore they can. I think it's a step up from Broken Spirit, but I don't think it's that much
better. I think you're reading too far into it. Like I don't know if it's that deep. Like I think that like if you're opening an album with a song like Elegy and Whiplash and Black Hole, like I don't know if they're like, oh, our fans didn't like that. Like, we're going to do this double meaning of being like, we used to be pretentious toward them, but now we're not, but we're going to call back to being pretentious just so they know that we're still aware of what they're saying. Like, no, I think they're just making what they're good at making.
Well, even without reading into that second layer of it, it's like, okay, but you still said all those things, and I think you meant that with your whole chest. And so now the very fact that you're doing heavy just comes off as like, oh, we never found our footing making music that isn't heavy, so now we have to go back to doing it, and it feels very begrudgingly done to go like cash a check because they know most of their fans will eat it up.
I feel like it's unfair to judge an album though based on what the artist may have said. You know, like during their last album cycle. Like if you listen to Seeing Red without knowing that, Architects was saying all of this about their music, it's a good listen. It's fast, it's heavy, it's fun. It might be a little ironic, but I don't understand how you could judge the music based on what they were saying in the past.
I mean, the main hook of that song is "We only ever love you when you're seeing red." Like that, it's pretty obvious. It's hard to look past that. But my point is more so like it's how it comes across to me. Like, and it may be a me as a listener thing. This album just doesn't feel very genuine to me, and a lot of the heavier moments they don't feel particularly unique. They feel kind of generic to me, at least. And so, aside from a song like "Brain Dead," which you're absolutely right, does lean into like a more punk sound, and I kind of wish they did a little more of that on here. I do like that song quite a bit, but a lot of this is just kind of in one ear and right out the other for me.
Well, we can all agree Judgment Day is a bad song.
Yeah.
Hitting us with
Also,
Rain Rain Go Away is tough.
well, it's like it's a Neck Deep rip, which is crazy. Neck Deep did a whole album about Happy Judgment Day and talking about Rain Rain Go Away in one of those songs,
It's true. That's a good
which
point.
is kind of a crazy thing. 'Cause Architects was on that album. Wait,
Oh,
there's a
that's
Sam
crazy.
Carter feature on Don't Wait, which is on that album. That's so weird. Like I had the Judgment Day Neck Deep note, but I didn't dig down to that second level there, which is crazy.
Well, that's a nice little callback
What a
then.
weird thing.
Nathan, I think your feelings are potentially justified, but I think also you're holding a grudge against them for what they said 3 years ago.
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
that there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a lot of good stuff on this album that I don't think comes off as pretentious. And I say that respecting your opinion more than I respect most of my opinions. So
You don't have to respect my opinion. This is like I fully recognize that like that whole era of Architects being, oh, we're very pretentious about our sound, left a sour taste in my mouth. And to see them crawling back to heavy, I'm kind of like, oh, interesting. And I mean, even maybe setting that aside, I feel like a lot of this album is pretty like okay. Like instrumentally, the heavier moments are fine. It's like decent modern metalcore. I wouldn't mind it if someone else threw it on, but I don't think I would seek it out myself.
Yeah, and that's totally valid. I can't
That's
disagree
fair.
with that at all. I don't think this is a great album. I think it sits kind of squarely in the middle of their discography, in my opinion.
So do I.
I think, yeah, I don't think it's amazing by any means. I just think it's better than what they've been producing recently.
All right, well, fellas, where are we putting this?
That's a great question. I think for me, I'm gonna put this in the 7 spot, right above Classic Symptoms of a Broken Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Jeff and I have it in the same spot at number 6, right above For Those That Wish to Exist. That's hilarious.
Yeah, we do.
That is really funny.
But we did kind of say the exact same things about this album. It's like I like that you can kind of feel the vintage Architects, even though they clearly didn't put the whole thing together.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to single you out, Nathan. It just so happened that me and Kyle are agreeing today.
I know how this show goes, Jeff. I don't feel sorted out. And it's funny how close we ended up having these in our rankings. I'm right behind y'all at 7. It's not like we're that far off. We just have very different perspectives on the album as a whole.
And you also put For Those That Wish to Exist at 4, which is pretty wild.
I guess For Those that Wish to Exist truther. Look, Dead Butterflies it's an amazing like anthemic metalcore song.
Yeah,
and Ordinary Extinction's like fun and heavy. Like there's good stuff on there. There's okay stuff on here. And that's my take. I think this next album is one that we're going to agree on a lot more. The next band we're going to update our list for is A Day to Remember with their new album, big ol' album, Volume 1.
Yay.
Yeah.
That implies the existence of more big ol' albums coming.
I know. I literally, my first note was there is an implied threat in this album title. The existence of Volume 1 implies Volume 2, and I don't like that.
And you know what? I bet Volume 2, the album cover will be from the front of the band members, and there'll be more dumb crap going on in the background.
They're going to flip it around for the first time ever, do you think? That's going to be their big reveal? Their big old reveal?
Their big old reveal part. Volume 2.
we all know how sequels go. They're usually worse, right? So if sequels are worse than the original, I cannot fathom how bad that album's
No.
gonna be.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
This album is what you would expect it to be after You're Welcome. It's not, in my opinion, it's not as bad, but it's this, it's almost this. Oh, I think it's at least slightly better. Like you have songs like To the Death.
I think you're probably right.
I think there are some moments that aren't like legitimately hard to listen to, and I think the lyrical content is a little more tongue in cheek than it felt on You're Welcome, where it almost feels intentional. Like All My Friends has to be an intentional song. Like they have to be intentionally doing their thing with friends because they talk about friends so many times, and so like it's got to be. I don't know. It's got to be tongue in cheek. And like Feedback is a fun song. It's not a great song, but it's a fun one, in my opinion. It might be a guilty pleasure thing. But like, so I think there are like somewhat redeemable moments on this album. But I think, again, it's what you would expect after You're Welcome in that, like, it's not good. It's not, there's nothing like strong about it. It's just as commercial, maybe even more so commercial because of trying to cram in some heavier elements just to kind of keep the brand. Yeah, I mean, like, Die For Me is the worst song maybe they've ever come out with. Like, it's a bottom 5 song in their discography.
That song is so irritating. And
it's just like, that kind of thing is littered around the whole thing. Like, honestly, Flowers, LeBron, and Die For Me, that's a generationally bad run of songs.
Yeah.
And so like
LeBron is so corny, dude. That song is terrible.
And I guess that's like what you kind of just have to come to expect from A Day to Remember is that they're gonna be corny. And their corniness makes some fun moments, in my opinion.
That song is corny and insanely oblivious because like the whole premise of that song is like, my band is LeBron. We're the LeBron of metalcore. We're awesome. We're so good. No one's on our level. But you are on your second consecutive generationally bad album. Like that is so funny.
That is funny, and I kind of like that. Like I don't like it like for the album, but like that's such a funny idea and concept for them to have. And I think, again, like I said, there's a level of they can't be taking themselves seriously.
Yeah.
And a lot of this album. And I think LeBron is probably another. I don't know. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
I don't have too many other thoughts besides what you guys said, to be honest. I do not like this album. I did not enjoy listening to it. I don't remember much of it. The only reason I'm going to put it above You're Welcome is because it has 12 songs and You're Welcome has 14. That's 2 less songs I have to listen to. That's all.
I think the lows of You're Welcome are lower than the lows on this album.
Yeah, this album is more just kind of generic and just passes through one ear and out the other.
Yeah. Like this is
there's no FYM on this album.
Yep. No FYM, no high diving,
Viva La Mexico.
no Viva La Mexico. No Only Money, no Degenerates, no Permanent, no Re-Entry. No, Everything We Need. Like that album is so bad. So bad.
Only Money is like not that one made me legitimately ponder and like be sad and like look out the window when it was raining and be like, what happened, man?
Yeah.
What happened?
And so I think you're right. I think this album is a step up from You're Welcome, but that is a painfully low bar. And you know what's also painful? Thinking about the fact that A Day to Remember hasn't put out a good album since 2013.
Yikes.
We're going on 12 years without a good album from this band, which, when they're at their best, really good. But they have not been at their best in a long time.
Speaking of, I'd like to make an adjustment to my list and put Common Courtesy above Bad Vibrations. I don't know what I was thinking. I never revisited Bad Vibrations, I don't think.
Yeah.
And I still listen to City of Akala, Right Back at It Again, sometimes Do the Hammer, Violence, Life Lessons, Learn the Heart. Like, that's a really good album, a really strong album. And I'd like to apologize for, I guess, trying to be unique, trying to be a rage baiter. I don't know. But Common Courtesy is going up to my 4. Bad Vibrations is at 5.
I like it.
And I'm sure if I reevaluated more, things would change. But that just jumped out at me. That's I've grown. I've changed. I've grown.
And so we're all in agreement, though, that this album goes in the 7 spot, only beating You're Welcome.
Yeah, and simply because almost by default, You're Welcome is just so terrible that as long as they don't blunder that terribly, it's going to go above it, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I don't,
Well,
brother. I
also
don't
funny-
see how they could. I truly don't see how they could blunder it.
Well, we'll see.
The best song on this album came out 3 years ago. Miracle came out in 2022. That's
my gosh.
crazy that it's even on the album at all. But yeah, overall, it's just safe, sanitized, and clearly made for broad appeal.
Yeah.
Don't think it has much personality as a result.
I think
So it's
yeah,
gotta be at the
honestly, but see, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're just talking semantics, but I do feel like it has personality, and I think again that there's like a twinge of irony to it. I hope that I
could
hope
see
there's
that.
a twinge of
No,
irony.
I think
to
that's
it.
true.
And I didn't feel
Maybe
that
you're
way
right.
on You're Welcome.
Maybe you're right.
I
because
think
there are other albums that we're going to talk about in this segment that truly have no personality. This
Shapeshifter.
is kind of memorably a day to remember, not for very good reasons, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely. And LeBron is definitely in a day to remember song. I can see how that's. So you know what? I retract my statement. You're right. It does have personality. I just don't like this person.
yeah, fair.
Simply put.
I like to think that they're being silly, but I'm not sure they are.
I think they're being millennial cringe.
Probably right.
Well,
Anyways,
we'll be here for Big Ol' Album Volume 2. And that's all I got to say.
Yep, hooray. So this next band that we're going to update our list for, you know, it feels like their musical career has always been intertwined with A Day to Remember in some senses. These bands always felt like brothers to me. And I don't know if I can really explain that, but it's true. This is Memphis Mayfire's Shapeshifter, which funnily enough came out exactly 7 days after that A Day to Remember album. 1 week later, we got this album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess you want to talk about no personality.
Yeah.
Ooh. That said, I like this more than the A Day to Remember album.
For sure. It's way better than the A Day to Remember album.
yeah.
Way better.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, while it's very generic, the choruses are all pretty uninspiring, whatever. Some of these breakdowns did perk my ears up a little bit. And I'm like, dang, I didn't know Memphis Mayfire still had that in them.
Yeah, that chaotic
Necessary
breakdown.
Evil is a pretty huge song.
Chaotic's breakdown is kind of
gross.
nice. Like some of these breakdowns go way harder than they have any reason to.
Yeah, Necessary Evil is a huge song as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah. There's some like halfway decent stuff on here.
Yeah.
But lyrically, if you want to hear Matty Mullins talk about how different he is and how you could never dream of being as like against the grain as him, then this will be a biblical album to you. That's what
true.
you want to hear.
Biblical,
It's
very
Mad-
good word
it's-
for it.
It's the Mad Hero Complex album, in my opinion. But
Because every Memphis Mayfire song is about how the enemy is out to get Matty Mullins.
yeah, and how Matty Mullins just can't do what everyone else does. He loves the chaotic. I hate that song, bro. I hate it.
See, I find that song really inoffensive, and then it has a really good breakdown for no reason, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm listening.
I kind of like chaotic.
Like I could throw this.
It's kind of groovy.
I could throw this album on in the background and not be upset that I was listening to it. I wouldn't be paying close attention, but I'd be like, oh, that was a cool rhythm. That was a cool groove. I do wish they leaned into the heavy sections a little more on here beyond just like the traditional radio metalcore formula, the verse, chorus, breakdown, chorus. So I wish they did a little more with that. But whenever they do a heavy verse or a breakdown, I'm kind of enjoying what I'm hearing, if I'm being honest.
Well, dude, Paralyzed has some really cool sections on it. And when you first turn that song on, you're like, what is this? This is cool. This is heavy.
Yeah.
And then it goes into like kind of a generic chorus, and then it kind of loses me. But it starts strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like Memphis Mayfire kind of knows who they are at this point, and that's like serviceable, slightly above average at times, approachable, accessible metalcore. And I think they're kind of content with that. And they're just going to do it until they stop being a band, I guess. Love is War, Hell is Empty. Like, I'm like, yeah, sure. It's fine.
Yeah.
And like, I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate Love is War. I don't hate Shapeshifter. I don't hate Asera Evil. Again, I just like, I don't love Memphis Mayfire that much at this point. And
Yeah.
honestly, like the thing that annoyed you about A Day to Remember might just annoy me about Memphis Mayfire. And it's the way Matty Mullins talks about things just bothers me. But yeah, if you had something to say.
I was just gonna say I really like the first 4 songs of this album. I think they're all pretty fun, high energy, heavy at some parts. The album kind of loses me at Hell's Empty. I know you guys have mentioned it. I don't know. And then the rest of the album just kind of falls apart from there, in my opinion. But it's the first 4 songs that I really like.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, this is really good background noise fodder. Like, it's not something I would throw on if I wanted to listen to music, but if I was, grinding at work and didn't want the deafening silence of the office, I'd throw this on and get some work done, and I wouldn't be upset about it.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, as far as my list goes, I think I'm gonna put this in the 6th spot, right above Remade in Misery.
You think this is better than... Wait, what? You think this is better than Remade in Misery? What?
This might be better than The Light I Hold, if I'm being honest. I don't remember anything about that album.
All right.
I don't either.
No
for that
way.
reason, I'm putting it, Nathan. For that reason, I'm putting it at the 7 because I don't remember The Light I Hold, and actually no, I do remember. Actually, here, let me.
In my opinion, Remade in Misery is
the thing
far
about
more
This
consistent.
Light I Hold is I don't remember it, but I don't remember anything about Remade in Misery either. And I feel like this is kind of the same thing. And I feel like I could look back at this in 2 years when Memphis Mayfire has another album and be like, I don't remember anything about Shapeshifter. So I'm just gonna put it at 6 and move on. It's fine.
It's not worth arguing about at this point.
It's not. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna get in the weeds on Memphis Mayfire.
Their bottom 3 albums.
Yeah.
For this Light I Hold, my top note is one of the worst albums we've covered. Very Maddie centered. So I will put it at the 7. Actually, I'll put it at the 6 just because of that comment.
That's funny. I just okay. Let me look at the songs on This Light I Hold. Out of it, I ranked it pretty good. Sounds like a B-side from The Hollow. Okay.
Light I Hold has good music. I don't understand that note.
Carry On.
Hollow is the best album by far.
Oh, The Hollow is amazing.
Hollow is like a generationally good album.
Goated metalcore album. Unconditional, also pretty good. Sleepwalking, underrated.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that and I have it the lowest on our list, but that is a phenomenal album. I like their top 3 albums a lot, and I even like Challenger quite a bit too. So half of this list is strong, and half of it is the most forgettable thing I think I've ever heard. So that's the Memphis Mayfire duality.
I'm comfortable at putting this at 6, right above This Light I Hold, and right under Remade in Misery.
Yeah.
And I'm also comfortable moving on.
Me too. I like that. And Kyle, I don't know how we're going to do this because I think you actually weren't here for the episode where we covered this band.
I'll just sit out.
You just sit out for this one? We'll make it quick so we can tag you back in.
Yeah, and well, I think if you weren't there for the band, then like just sit out for it. Throw like I listened to the album
and you loved
thoughts,
it.
But
I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
I didn't evaluate Under Oath like you guys did, so yeah, go for it.
Yeah, like Kyle just mentioned, this is The Place After This One by Under Oath, and I actually think this is kind of good, like which I found very surprising. But I think it definitely feels like a modern Under Oath album, but it kind of sounds like they're trying to push their sound in some new directions, which I can certainly respect. It doesn't always work on here, but there are a few tracks where it kind of does. Generation No Surrender to open the album. Pretty good.
I agree.
The chorus doesn't land for me. It's not egregious or super offensive. But the heavier moments of that track really kind of harken back to some of the what I love about older Under Oath albums. You know, there's a lot of energy, there's fast riffs, there's some fun breakdowns. That track is good. Teeth with the heavy electronic sampling, and even some like lo-fi influence, it sounds like. I think that's a pretty good song. I really like when that big old riff comes in that song in the chorus. Like, it's cool. I kind of like this album more than certainly their last one, maybe their last two, which maybe we'll see. That's a bit of a take, but Jeff, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree with you. This is a really interesting album in terms of what they tried to do, especially after Voyeurist. They're certainly, I think, trying to push their sound forward and be experimental and try different things, which I really appreciate. And in a lot of ways, I like when bands do that. But I don't know, there's just some overall problems with this album that I can't really explain. I think a lot of it just doesn't sound that good. I don't know why.
Yeah, the production's a little flat, in my opinion, on a lot of these songs.
It just kind of sounds messy. And I feel like the vocals clash with the instrumentation instead of them working in concert with one another. Yeah. I don't like Teeth that much.
I see. I don't know what it is about that one. The production on that one kind of works for me. And I think that song would be kind of cool live as a change of pace, especially if they're playing, a lot of their other better albums.
Yeah,
admittedly.
I like, and I have an album in my top 5 where the band does this and switches to kind of more of an R&B thing like this.
Oh,
spoiler. But for some reason with Teeth, when the guitars come in, it just doesn't sound good. It just kind of, it's weird. It sounds grainy and kind of bad. And I think that's kind of a problem that follows this entire album, is that to me, it just doesn't sound that good. And I think the production is kind of weak. And I don't know if they're going for more of a raw feel, if they're going for that sound, or if it truly is just it's not mixed very well, and it clashes throughout. I don't know what they're trying to do, but I just think otherwise, like, the back half of this album is pretty generic. I think the closer is
definitely
very, very weak. Yeah. There's a couple songs on here.
It definitely kind of falls apart in the back.
Yeah, and there's one chorus, and I can't find the name of the song. I'm looking. It has "Kill, Kill, Kill" as the chorus. What song is that?
Oh yeah. I don't remember what song it is, but I remember that sticking out and be like, that doesn't
horrible.
Work. And it's Survivor's Guilt.
Yeah, okay.
I actually had a note about it in my notes on here. The chorus does not work for me. Yeah. I think that actually might be the worst song on here.
Yeah.
Because of that chorus just being so grating with the guilt tied around your neck. Just I don't love a repeated word chorus like that. It doesn't work very often. You have to do a lot of other work in the song to make that work in the chorus. But it doesn't really work there. And Jeff, to your point about the production being weird on here, I mean, look at a song like Devil. Like, the production is it's certainly unique. I'll say that. And the heavy parts of that track hit, but they don't mix with the more melodic ideas at play in the song. And I think that's true of a lot of the songs on here.
Yeah.
And I think I have more appreciation for this album relative to so many other albums we're talking about in this segment, because ultimately I don't know where I'm going to put this on my list, because it is kind of voyeurist too. But at the same time, I think there are songs on that same level. I think this goes right below voyeurist for me. I take back what I said earlier about this being right above it.
I think I'm going to put it below as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's because the back half of the album really does kind of become voyeurist light.
To me, with the production and the consistency, I think both are worse than voyeurist. And so for that reason, I'd rather have voyeurist on my desert island.
That's fair. Kyle, you said you checked this out. Do you have any thoughts on it? I'm curious to hear.
Yeah, somewhat similar. The production, there were some production choices that were interesting to me, especially when they introduced some of the electro elements and kind of put vocal effects on them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty apparent in songs like Devil. But overall, a pretty inoffensive album. I mean, I didn't take a whole lot of notes on it. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was a step up from what they've done recently. But overall, inoffensive album. I thought the back half was a little bit stronger than the front half, but not many more thoughts.
Yeah, I appreciate them trying to move their sound forward, but for me, I think I'm excited for what their next album, maybe when they refine it a bit and with these more experimental elements. But I think right now it kind of falls flat, and that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be curious to see where they go from here. Speaking of a band who took a step up from where they've been, the next band we're gonna catch up on is Fit for a King with their new album "Lonely God."
Yeah, good stuff.
We're going to be talking about it later on my list.
I thought there was a chance that this would come up later.
Yeah,
this is one of the two albums that I thought had a chance at it.
I really like this album.
It's pretty dang good. I was very
really
pleasantly
like this
surprised by it.
album.
But
yeah,
we'll save that. We'll save that for later. Moving on to the album that maybe annoyed me the most. Because I think at this point I was so fed up with all these generic metalcore albums. And then I got fed arguably the most generic of them all. We Came as Romans, All is Beautiful Because We Are Dying. This deeply upset me to the point where I really struggled to get through it.
Yeah.
You want to talk about no personality? This is the bottom of the barrel as far as no personality goes. Every single song, generic metalcore verse, anthemic hook, metalcore verse 2. This time, maybe a bit heavier than the first verse. Big hook, breakdown/bridge, chorus, we're out of here. And it's just so painfully obvious that this was crafted to be big, safe, new age arena metalcore, and it just rubbed me all the wrong way. It's like Dark Bloom, but actually worst case scenario for what that album could have been. Because there are a couple good songs on Dark Bloom. There's nothing here.
Yeah, and to be honest, I was so excited for this album listening to the interlude at the beginning, All is Beautiful. It's almost like a Heaven's Gate ambient, and then the riff comes in and it's very chuggy and heavy. But that's literally the best song on the entire album. Like, I'm not even joking.
What a rug pull. Yeah.
That interlude is awesome, and it's literally the best thing on the album, and I was really looking forward to Because We Were Doomed, because I thought that the interlude would fade into the closer as kind of a bookend the album, and they have nothing to do with each other.
Would make sense the way they're stylized.
Yeah, so real shame. I agree, very generic, really nothing to love here.
The album is outdated by 10 years.
Yeah,
and it's like they were doing it so much better a decade ago or 15 years ago. And so it was disheartening. It did kind of suck to have to dig back up. I do think No Rest for the Dreamer is a good song. I think the riff on that song is killer, and I like the delivery on the chorus because his delivery on that chorus is really emotional and he does a little more guttural. But that's really the only spot that I was drawn to. I think that everything else was very underwhelming. It's just an underwhelming album. Every single song is a song that it was never groundbreaking, and it doesn't need to be groundbreaking. But
it's also not engaging at all.
No, it's not. Like opening up with the children na na nas on that second song of the album, just like that, my blood ran cold, and I was like, God dang it, did it again, son of a
it's so true,
dude. That ticked me off. So yeah, that was it. It's just an outdated album that didn't need to come out.
Yeah, honestly, Kyle, I laughed during your segment because I was reading my notes for when I was listening through the album, and for Culture Wound, I wrote one of the better songs on this album, but I bet by the time we talk about it on the show, I won't be able to remember anything about it. And by golly, I don't remember anything about it. That's so crazy.
Let me tell you, pseudo electro elements and changing pace. Does that sound unique to you? It doesn't to me because that's been
so
the genre
generic
for 10 years.
And I bet like the change in pace made me probably feel something. I was like, oh. And so that's probably why I liked it. I also had a similar note on Where Did You Go? The drop is cool, but that's genuinely it. And then B2TM being kind of a token heavy track that's just fine. Like it at best, at its very, very best, this album is shrug. Just a nice shoulder shrug, you know? But most of it is just nothing.
I like the little girl saying "because we're doomed" into like that half breakdown near the end, and "because we're doomed." I remember that part. That was kind of interesting. But
I don't remember that at all. I think I was so upset by that point. I was just
you probably didn't even
getting
get to it.
through it.
But I think the real question.
No, I got to it. I listened to the whole thing, but
no, I know. I'm just messing with you. But this is what I do need to know, and this is what I think all the listeners want to know: is this better or worse than self-titled?
worse. And let me tell you why. Regenerate exists.
Yep.
And while that is a generic metalcore track, it came out at a time where that was more acceptable. Like Kyle said, this album is 10 years late. 10 years ago, that's self-titled. That is when it was okay to put out a song like Regenerate. That album also has Flatline, which has always been more melodic We Came as Roma songs that I have enjoyed. And for those two songs alone, that is enough for All Is Beautiful to be at the very bottom of this list. And that may be nostalgia, but I don't think it is.
I think it is better, but slightly. It's because it's a little heavier.
Self-titled is better?
No. All Is Beautiful is better. Just because there are heavier elements that you really like outside of like the opener on self-titled.
Okay. I just don't see how that could. I don't see how that could be possible.
What?
That all you think All Is Beautiful is better than self-titled?
Dude, self-titled is horrible.
Savior of the Week is better than just about every song on this album. And that's
are you
the
kidding?
worst song on.
Wait, are you serious? I can't even tell if you're joking right now. Are you serious? No, it is not.
I think it would be an actual conversation. I don't know.
Dude.
I don't know if I actually think that, but I think it's a conversation.
This album is generic, but I think that's as far as you can't say it's bad. In my opinion, it's generic, it's forgettable, but it's not bad. And I think self-titled is bad.
I debated back and forth, but at the end of the day, at the end of the day, this is just like this made me sad.
It is sad.
And when an album like a band this storied and this impactful kind of just clearly mails it in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like I don't feel like I should put this over anything where I feel like there's an ounce of creativity and excitement and fun. Just me.
That's fair.
That's just
fair
me.
enough. You know what? That's very valid. I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
I stand by what I said about self-titled. There are two songs that I genuinely like on there, and that's significantly more than I like on this album. So it's got to be at the bottom for me. Okay.
Well, all right.
That was a really fun discussion about a really fun album.
Yeah.
So maybe it's about time we hop off the album train and talk about the new Currents EP,
Mm-hmm.
All That Follows. Boy, this is pretty good, isn't it? Like this is
good.
pretty good.
This is good stuff, and we
This
can get
is
excited
pretty
now because we
good.
can talk about some good music.
Yes, I agree.
I was very impressed by this, actually. One of the better releases of this segment, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
dare I say, Currents is kind of back.
Why do you say that?
Well, I feel like I have a weird relationship with this band, honestly, because the place I feel safest, I think, is pretty undeniably one of the best modern metalcore albums ever released. Like it's modern metalcore excellence. It's a masterpiece for the genre. And then everyone loved the way it ends, and I really did not.
No, I didn't like it either.
I was like, Currents is out. It was fun while it lasted. But then I will say, I kind of got back on board with The Death We Seek. There's some pretty good stuff on there. That kind of felt like a step in the right direction for what I like from Currents. And then I think this really follows up on that. So to me now, when I look at this discography, it's over. It's no longer it's over. There is one outlier in this discography that I don't really like, and that's the way it ends. And people just happen to like that. Everything else is pretty good to excellent. So in that sense, we're solidly back. I know they're
Yeah, I
not going to
agree.
relapse into the way it ends.
Relapse into the way it ends. See, I had way it ends at 2, and I do remember enjoying that album. I am sure. Yeah, that's an interesting choice by the young man again, but that's all right. I agree, Nathan. I think that they're fully back. I think the production on. I think it's such a Currents project where like the
It is.
guitar is
It is.
so beautiful and mesmerizing at times, and the different tones and the production of it, and that I really do feel like this is a guitar forward album, which I feel like Currents always knocks out of the park.
Yep.
And I love listening to this album.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I love The Death We Seek. I think The Death We Seek is a great album. And I think this is just a continuation of more of that same sound.
Yeah.
I like the sound a lot. Sometimes I do feel like the songs kind of blend together a little bit. And maybe that's just me, but that's kind of my only gripe. Otherwise, I think this EP is fantastic. And I think it's on a similar quality as The Death We Seek, which is an album that I really like.
Definitely. Kyle, I mean, to your point about this being a riff forward, like it only gets darker. The riffs in that song are so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The breakdowns are great. Like it's definitely Currents. Like Currents has their sound. If you didn't like it before, you're not gonna like it now. If you liked it before, you're probably gonna really like this. They're not reinventing themselves on here, but they're on cruise control in a good way.
It's not only the instrumentation, like you can really feel the emotion as well. Like Making Circles is an emotional, enormous song where you do have kind of those buzzsaw guitars and back and forth between pace, but it's a really interesting album. And or EP, excuse me. And I was pleasantly very surprised and excited.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I'm certainly more drawn to the heavier tracks on here, like Can't Turn Back.
Yes.
That is vintage Currents right there with that intro riff is nuts. And the way they write it through that first verse, oh man. And I also think, I mean, the vocal performance in that song, I mean, that's purely heavy all the way through. But like the way Brian is screaming on this track, you're getting some highs, you're getting some of those lows, and they're just such good accent pieces to his normal mid-range kind of fry scream that he does. And man, what a song. That is an absolute ripper. And I will say, to the point like about preferring the heavy stuff, like I look at a song like My Severance, I'm like, yes, the heavy stuff is awesome on this one. I do think the chorus kind of hurts the momentum of that song. So like it does have, some similar pitfalls to other Currents projects. But overall, I mean, this was a surprise drop. I don't think they announced it much ahead of time. And what a pleasant surprise that was.
Yeah, I echo everything that you say, Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a fun project.
Enjoyed it.
Excited to hear more from Currents. Always just a consistent band you can kind of rely on at this point.
Yeah.
A band that you cannot rely on, apparently, is the Devil Wears Prada.
Wait. We need to rank it, dude.
Oh, you're totally right. The transition was so good, though. It was right there.
It was so good. You crushed that. Fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post. I think for me, I'm going to put this right below I Let the Devil In. I think that EP is better, but I think this is right on its heels. So that'll be in my 4 spot.
I'm going to put it at my 5, just above the way it ends, just below Life Lost. I put I Let the Devil In really high, and I do love that EP, but maybe overrated it just a tad there. But I do really love that EP.
It is a good EP.
It's excellent.
I put it over Let the Devil In, and in the same 4 spot as Nathan. So
maybe it's like my emotional connection to I Let the Devil In, but that EP has a special place in my heart.
I remember not enjoying. Yeah. I didn't like that. I mean, I like one song on that EP a lot.
Poverty of Self.
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. Or no,
Poverty of Self isn't on I Let the Devil In.
On the way it ends. I Let the Devil In. Into Despair is what I really, really, really like.
Oh, you're right. So stupid.
Yeah, that's humiliating. But yeah, no, I Let the Devil In is...
Dang it.
Really, really good. Wait, have we done a top 10 consensus for Currents?
We have not.
All right, well, put that in the back pocket. Anyways.
Yep. Bookmark that. The Rope is the best song on that EP. That song is freaking crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I
Anyway.
enjoyed this.
Yeah, this is good. This is good stuff.
All right,
And now,
what's
Nathan,
what's not good stuff,
Well,
dude?
let me try that again. For a band, I guess we can't rely on. The Devil Wears Prada. Flowers.
I mean, what a disaster. I mean,
What, dude? Something came out recently. The guitarist came out on social media and said, "Yeah, I wasn't really involved in the writing process for this album." Boy, does it show! Like I don't know if there's a single interesting riff on here.
No, it's not even an interesting song. Like just in total on here.
Okay, Where the Flowers Never Grow is fine.
I was gonna say that song is catchy and fun.
Yeah, it's like,
and there's like theatrics and like it's beautiful, whatever.
Yeah, it's a good like melodic anthemic thing, you know.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's fine. Would it be the worst song on Color Decay? Maybe. Yeah, there's a pretty good chance.
Yeah, it would for sure.
But is it bad?
My God,
no.
I mean, I guess I'm the only one adjusting my list, but what the heck is The Act doing above Color Decay in my list? That's crazy.
Kyle, I don't know. I think I gave you a hard time about that when we did it because I hate The Act.
All right, may I?
You may.
Thanks. I think I was just spitting hot takes for the sake of it because I like the Color Decay a lot.
It's good. Color Decay is excellent.
Mm-hmm. And like when you and not to compare it, but that is kind of the point of this damn show.
That's what we do here.
And like the Color Decay is so dense and emotional, and they take so many risks. And there are empty parts that are just screaming with like ambient guitar behind it. And then there are some huge songs. They didn't take any risks here. This is such a step back, it felt like. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just really disappointing.
Yeah. The best songs on here would be the worst songs on Color Decay. Because I'll stick my neck out for Ritual. I think it's fine. It's not great. It's not something I would put in my playlist, but it's fine. All Out is a token heavy track. It's fine. It's better than everything else on here, but it's not good.
It just seems like there's a lot of like obligatory stuff in this album, like an obligatory heavy track. There are obligatory breakdowns. You got every chorus just kind of feels uninspired, and the emotion in his voice that you can detect in all of their top stuff with both Zombies, the Color Decay, with Roots.
What an album!
Dang, dude.
This
band is so good, and they have such a strong discography, and I had high hopes.
Yeah, and
well, here's the thing. Well, go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff. I've been talking a lot.
No, okay. I was just gonna say, this album lacks an identity, and I think that's the real problem. This album doesn't know what it wants to be outside of accessible, generic metal. And I saw someone post online. You know, Kyle, maybe you said this. I don't remember. This album is for metal fans that want their partners, spouses to get into metal, so they play them this. And then they end up not liking it anyways, so you just turn it off because it's not very good. But with Color Decay, that album had an identity. That was sad, angry emotion coming out in the screams and in the riffs and in the lyrics. And you just don't find any of that here. Everything is generic, from the lyrics to the production to the instrumentation. There's nothing here that you can really latch onto and say, okay, this is what this album is going for. This is what they want us to feel. This is what the Devil Wears Prada wants me to feel coming out of this project. Where I feel like in Color Decay, it was clear what they wanted you to feel. And I think that's the main difference.
Yeah. No, and I think to your point on that, like if you look at their EPs, like we all know the Devil Wears Prada, they're great at EPs. Zombie, Space, they have a very clear-cut identity. They set out to do something. They're like, yeah, the Zombie EPs, it's going to be heavy and atmospheric. Space, it's going to be ambient and odd. And I really like that one. And I'm looking at y'all's list, and I remember that you don't. But Kyle, you asked us offline, how did the Devil Wears Prada follow up an album as good as Color Decay with something as bad as Flowers? And I kind of think we need to reframe that question a little bit. I think we might need to change it to how did the Devil Wears Prada manage to release an album as good as Color Decay amidst the rest of their modern discography? Because you look at their last few albums, Flowers, Color Decay, The Act, Transit Blues, 818. Like it's been kind of down for a long time. And 818 is a bit harsh. That's a good album.
I don't know, man. Zombie 2 came out in 2021.
It did, but you got to take into account it's not really a full-length release, and it's very set in its identity as like, hey, we're explicitly setting out to do a heavy thing, which of course is more fun than their melodic radio metalcore thing. So if you look at their 4 full-length albums that are most recent, 1 out of 3 is good. I think it's kind of impressive that they released a good one, or one that is that good, while kind of struggling to find their identity in the modern metalcore landscape.
Yeah, that's a good perspective. I don't hate 818 or The Act as much as you do, I think. But I do agree.
Yeah,
I don't
really
hate 818 was a bit of a stretch. I don't hate that album at all. But
and I didn't hate The Act.
The Act has some stuff on it.
I just that album, I find it very annoying. The album cover is so good though.
It is cool.
The album art is fire. And I also really like the album art for Flowers. I think it's really nice. Very nice color palette.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that Midsummer movie.
It does. It does give that vibe. But it's so different from the rest of their album covers, though. It's so not dark and gritty.
Well, I think Transit Blues also has a very light album cover.
It's like all white with like a little symbol. I think it's totally different than like the Flowers, like literally green and blue sky and things, like kind of a hopeful album.
The flowers
cover.
are the symbol. The only constant is the symbol.
Just because you make a constant symbol doesn't mean it's good.
Fair enough. Maybe that's the branding guy in me. I love branding. I love marketing.
You are a brand guy, dude. You're a slave to the brand.
I'm a slave to the brand. I'm a slave to the marketing machine.
Hey, they didn't do it in the Color Decay.
Yeah, they did. It's the eyes.
Oh,
what?
Whoa.
Oh, dude, it is. It's crazy. Holy crap. Wait, where is it in The Act?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Probably in there. It's in there somewhere, I'm sure. Something that was just exciting about Color Decay is the emotion in it, like I mentioned, and like having songs like Trapped and Cancer and 25 and Salt, where like you can really feel despair and pain, and like the subject is so reflective. To go to Flowers, where again, like we've said, it just a lot of it feels mailed in. Most of it feels mailed in, and that, as I said with We Came as Romans, is disappointing. It's really disappointing. Yep. And a band that like this is one of the best discographies we've ever covered, and you would always love to see something add to it, but I just don't feel like this adds much at all.
No, it really doesn't. I mean. Look, man, I don't even know if this is going to be very controversial. This is straight to the bottom for me.
Oh, yeah. It's not even a question. And I really don't like Transit Blues.
I'll put it above Beautiful Discord.
I don't like Transit Blues. I really didn't like the Space EP. But this is another level.
Space is so good.
I put it above Beautiful Discord because that album is kind of unlistenable.
I understand.
So is this, though.
I understand.
Yeah. No, not in the same way.
It's a different kind of unlistenable.
It is.
This album is too listenable, where it wipes your brain. When you move on to the next song, it wipes your brain of what you just listened to. Like I listened to this.
You're around it so much that your brain just gets too many chemicals in it. It was only chemical.
I listened to this album probably like.
I don't hate that song.
You're laughing at your own joke there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've listened to this album like 8 times at work on various days, and like I don't remember any song at all.
Yeah, it's super boring.
I have to start playing it to be like, oh yeah, that song is not great. I don't know. That's just me. It makes me sad.
Oh, bro, it's not just you. It's me too. And they also included. The audacity, the gall. They included a bonus track on the physical release of this album that's like a heavier track, and it's unfortunately Our Fans Don't Like Us Because We're Not Heavy Anymore track. which is so unfortunate. And also, Color Decay was like universally beloved, and that's like kind of decidedly not a very heavy album. And I think it's just another band missing the point. People don't care if you mellow out. Look at The Plot in You. Look at Bring Me to a certain extent. Like, as long as you're writing engaging music, you can do whatever you want. The problem is you're mellowing out and not writing engaging music. And I'm so sick and tired of bands missing that and playing the victim.
Well said.
Guys, can we talk about some? Oh, wait, we skipped one.
Yeah.
We skipped one. Okay, well, this will be a good bridge into we're going to start talking more positively. We're going to get our energy up. One album that we forgot is Hail the Suns, Cut, Turn, Fade Back.
We'll talk about it.
We're shelving it.
Yeah. I mentioned it last
So
week.
it didn't matter. We didn't forget anything. It was in the show notes. We did it on purpose. I promise. So that instead of talking about Hail the Sun, now we're going to go into our EPs of the year.
Let's go.
Bro, I'm so excited to get happy about music again instead of being irritated.
We get to be happy. We get to talk about good music.
We get to be happy. We get to talk about amazing music now. And so in the bonus episode, we went in order of Jeff, Kyle, then me. And so we're going to keep that going. So Jeff, I'm going to send it over to you right now. What's your EP of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking forward to talking about these guys the entire year. They just continue on their new tour of excellence. And speaking of excellence, the EP is titled Join Us in Creating Excellence by Soulkeeper, my favorite EP of the year.
I should have seen that coming. Yeah. I should have known.
These guys I love these guys.
That's a Jeff coded call.
It's awesome though.
No, it's so good. I've been such a big fan of these guys since their sound revitalization in 2023 with Holy Design. It made my top 5 list back then. And this just continues their chaotic, progressive, experimental metal. The title track starts with that digital feeling that you'll just get throughout the entire EP. And the breakdown in that track is so absurd and it's glitchy and rewinds. And it's so strange. And that strangeness is imbued throughout the entire EP, which I really like. It also has this splash of auto-tune cleans like in the middle with bubbly sound effects and chimes, and then the riff slams back in, and it's really fun to listen to. Go Ask Alice continues its digital progressive glitchiness and a chaotic riff, distorted vocals. And then in the middle of that one, there's like a peaceful ambient section. And then Eric just comes in and smashes it with frantic screaming. So it's really fun. Reality Bites. It's more of an electronic dance pop opening, but he's still screaming on top of it, but there's like no guitar or drums. And it's very unique sounding. And then all the full instrumentation comes in the second half, and then the full song comes in and just blows you away. And then Smile Because It Happened, the closer, alternates between low and high screams, has a huge breakdown, great guitar work. The whole EP from beginning to end is just craziness. It's digital, electronic, chaotic, super fun, and I'm very excited for their next full length whenever it comes out.
Yeah, man, this EP is so crazy. But like Soulkeeper's whole sound, like it feels so modern. This is only a band that could exist now.
Yeah,
because it's so ingrained in that like cyberspace. Like it's just so glitchy and so loud, and it's so abrasive with the production, and it's so heavy and it's so cool. This band is kind of one of those one of one bands. Like there's not another band like Soulkeeper.
That's how I feel. And whenever I have to jump on their new release whenever it comes out, and they haven't missed in the last 2.
No, this is a great pick. I love shouting these guys out. They're awesome.
Yeah. If you like not knowing what's around the corner. CP is phenomenal. Like you hear, I know you mentioned it, but like you hear it just in the opening, the title track, where it's like, what are they up to? What are they doing? Like, how did they think of this?
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I love it.
It's borderline cyber grind. I don't know if it's quite that heavy, but it's like right in there. Like I would expect these guys to go on tour with like Zombie Shark.
No, I love it.
This is so sick. I do love this. So Kyle.
All right, guys. Are you ready?
I'm ready
I'm
for a
so
surprise. I've
excited.
been on the edge of my seat all night waiting
This
for
is a
this.
surprise, and it's when you think of me, you think of, hey, the more melodic, the more emotional, kind of the more guitar forward.
This is a pop punk
Not
guy.
today. Not yeah. I'm more of a pop punk. Yeah, dip my toes into some heavier every once in a while. But if you remember, if for an autopsy had my favorite album of the year last year,
Oh,
and my favorite EP of the year this year is Punishment by Crown Magnetar.
that is so out of character.
I told you, dude. It's
I love that.
and like I just said, I have a very specific deathcore taste, and man, does this scratch that itch? Like you look at the title of the songs: Barbed Wire Noose, Decapitation Ritual, Nailed the F Down, Bringer of Dead Light. Like
I'm blown away.
Yeah, this is crazy to me.
It is so guttural and heavy. I mean, obviously it's heavy. Like you look at the album, the album cover, and
Yeah.
you're in for a real coaster. But like the opening track is just vicious. I don't know. It's more intense than really anything I listen to, and I generally gravitate more towards kind of the deeper guttural screams. And right when I hear really deathcore higher screams, I go away. But these guys, they generally stay with those lower range screams. But when they do go higher, it feels intentional. And it helps the song and it works with the song, which I like, which I was blown away by as well. The highlight of the album, in my opinion, is Nailed the F Down, which is another relentless song with a couple huge breakdowns. There are two breakdowns that sound like pipe bombs exploding. And I wouldn't really dare showing this to anyone I respected, is kind of my perspective of this EP. Is like, it's the skull out of your brain, has a brutality to it, and if Fit for an Autopsy scratches that itch, this is heavier, but it's so good. Like Barbed Wire Noose has a gun breakdown, a gunshot breakdown, which is always lame. Dude, this gets me. This EP gets me very fired up. I really like it. If you need to get something off your chest, listen to this EP.
Yeah,
I'm excited to dig into this because I've always kind of heard of this band. I don't know if I've ever checked them out, like for real. So I'm gonna, Kyle, if you like it, I have to check this out because I think that speaks to the quality of a deathcore release. If you like it,
yeah, I think Jeff will really like it. Nathan, your deathcore taste is not as similar to mine as Jeff's is, so
yeah, I'm listening to it now a little bit.
I was listening to that first track. He's got a little bit of that like fast delivery in some of the verses where everything's so technical, so fast. It's like you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Thy Art Is Murder. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this project.
That's a good comp.
It's just surprises me.
It's so obnoxiously fast and technical that you can almost turn your brain off listening to it. Like it almost just flips a switch where you can go full primal, and it moves me. I love it.
Yeah.
To your point, I always bounce off of deathcore because of the high pitched screams. I think that it's hard for me to get past that. But I'm listening to these first couple of songs and I'm really liking it because he does stay with just the low growls, which is my favorite part of deathcore. So I'm definitely going to save this and listen to it.
Yeah, and like and again, like they do introduce some higher screams, but it's only during short blast beat spurts that don't kind of take over a song and like immediately annoy me.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like I don't know. I don't like that. Which shows me as not being a true deathcore guy, which I'm clearly not, and I've never claimed to be. But it's like
I don't think any of us are like truly rooted in deathcore. I think we have we're much more metalcore people. We'll say it, hardcore, metalcore, pop punk kind of. But then I've been dipping my toes in a little more deathcore, and like my taste in deathcore is very specific. Like, and I can never exactly pinpoint what deathcore is going to work for me and what isn't, but when it works, oh, it really works.
Oh, yeah, and this works. This works for me at least.
Yeah.
Like Bringer of the Dead, there's like I can't tell if it's a scream or an alarm that's going off in one of like the blast beats. I just thought that's crazy. Like I've listened to it a bunch of times. I'm like, I still don't understand. And then there's a guitar solo in the middle of it that, again, my comparison, because my Rolodex is low, is like a Fit for an Autopsy guitar solo.
Yeah.
It kind of cuts
No,
through
that seems legit.
and breaks it. And like Decapitation Ritual is a good short closer. It's just kind of a symphony of chaos with a demented breakdown at the end. And it's yeah, I would love for you to dig into it because
I'm going to.
Yeah, for sure.
Kyle recommended deathcore.
This is great stuff.
It.
This is great stuff.
I've been holding on to this for like a couple months and been like, I cannot wait. Can't wait.
That is awesome. That is so awesome.
It's such a good pick.
All right. That's it.
I think we're gonna keep things heavy here.
Oh boy.
My EP of the year is Hide from the Light by a band called Dissect. But Dissect is spelled Diessect.
Oh.
Which is so funny. But this EP this EP is insane. Jeff, this is 100% up your alley if you haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it.
Just sickening, nasty Australian metalcore that I've honestly been keeping a pretty close eye on since their 2023 EP. And this EP follows through on every piece of potential they ever showed. This rips. And Jeff, I say this is going to work for you because I know you're like a fan of the Heaven's Gate style of metalcore.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually a very fair comparison to this band because both of them feel very clearly born from the Alpha Wolf style of just being stupid heavy with crazy guitar effects on the breakdowns, and honestly breakdowns that kind of make you sit back and ponder life. And to be clear, Heaven's Gate also released an EP this year, and I ain't talking about it. I think Dissect out Heaven's Gate this year. I guess that's a little rude, but both EPs were in consideration for the spot. This one is just more memorable to me. And it just slaps. From the very opening track, you really get a sense of that dark atmosphere and just insane style of intentionally overproduced metalcore that feels very textured and really leans into the abrasive and almost overwhelming atmosphere and sounds they throw in. And that title track, Hide from the Light, is one of my favorites on here because the way that song flows from that opening riff and verse to the part where it picks up the pace and then hits you with just another breakdown. It just like slams your face into it. It's metalcore excellence. And then right after that track, you get Too Many Scars, which opens with this absolutely insane drop and turntable scratches that just add so much texture to the rhythm of it all before dropping into this crazy bouncy groove with some glitchy effects. It's just so cool. And I mean, this whole EP is nuts. And it's only like 15 minutes. So once it kicks down that door, it never lets you go. And I think if you like that Alpha Wolf style, and if you're familiar with Heaven's Gate and you like them, just that loud, angry brutality that is not technical whatsoever, just chugging and sounds. I think you absolutely have to check this out because this EP is insane.
Yeah, I saw they toured with Graphic Nature, which is a band that we like. So that makes sense. So I'm definitely going to check this out.
Like. That would be an insane tour. I wish I lived in Australia.
Yeah. No, this is a great pick. I'll definitely listen to this one as well.
So groovy and bouncy and just nasty. Breakdowns feel like you're running into a brick wall on here. Yeah, Jeff, you're gonna like that. You're gonna like that. I guarantee it. I'd put money on you liking it a lot.
Yeah, I just turned on Pretty Much Dead, and like that is crazy. That
Yeah,
I'll definitely check this out.
It's so good, man. All right, so that's our EPs. Do we have any honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut that we want to give a quick little shout out to here?
Yeah, Heaven's Gate, I think for sure is one that I was considering.
Definitely. I also almost had to throw in Pulse's new Pulse's Pack Volume 1.
Yes.
It's so fun. I love Pulse's progressive post-hardcore. Like that new wave is so exciting, and they're kind of at the forefront of it. So I think that's my biggest honorable mention there.
I also wanted to shout out Invent Animate and Silent Planets collab EP.
Oh yeah,
that one is also really good as well. So shout them out.
Super cool. Two great bands.
Yeah. So
guys, the time has come. Our top 5 albums of the year. I think there's a lot of potential for overlap here because I think there was a certain tier of album that is kind of clearly a cut above the rest this year. And I think we all have similar enough tastes that we're going to overlap a little bit. So just to remind everyone, if one of us reveals an album that is higher on one of the other guys' lists, we'll table it just like we were talking about earlier. So Jeff, back to you. What is your 5th favorite album of the year?
Yeah, and this was not easy. There was a lot of good music that came out this year, in my opinion. But the one that I went with for number 5 is such a great album. One with the Stream by Anti-Mir. Swedes do it again. I mean, there's not much else to say. This album. It scratches that current Silent Planet itch that I've personally been looking for because, like I said, I think Currents in a lot of ways are still an exceptional band, but not really hitting that 2017 album in quite the same way of that quality. And I think with One with the Stream, we finally kind of get a similar quality album to that. And I know there's a ton of bands that try to get this sound, but this particular one blew me away. A lot of great modern metal influences throughout the board. Like I said, a lot of Fit for a King feeling on here, Currents, Silent Planet with the lyricism. And I think they combine all of their influences in a way that's really compelling. The Mist starts with kind of a beautiful female vocal introduction and then a heavy sound that backs it up. Nothing Left to Say, the next song, is super Fit for a King inspired. More focused on the melodic elements interspersed with heavy bits, but the lyrics are very poetic and beautiful. And in the middle are some huge crushing breakdowns. I think they describe their music better than I ever could. And so they say, our music is heavy and down-tuned, beautiful and gloomy, where we honor our roots with modern influences. And I don't think I could put it any better. This album is filled with chugs, ambient, it's very melancholic, it's sad, but it's super heavy in moments where they want to be. Foreign Eyes is a standout, scratchy riff and huge breakdowns throughout. You have a softer portion that comes in about 3 minutes, and the song's super memorable there until the end. Heaven Sent has a beautiful chorus with high-pitched cleans and a ridiculous breakdown that will take your head off. Nat Sagan, another standout, and that song is with Silver Lake Murder. And Silver Lake Murder released an album this year, and it's pretty good. But if you listen to that album, you'll quickly realize how chaotic and fast and insane this song is going to be. And it just comes out of the gate slamming. And it kind of makes you want to run to your nearest mosh pit and just start crowd killing. Like just start kicking and flailing your arms all around in the pit until it dies, because that's how crazy this song is. That song has a quicker rhythm than a lot of the other songs on the album, but it's such a nice change of pace. It's really, really great. And then it has a blab breakdown at the end, if you're into that, which I know that we are. Dark Clouds, a more melodic offering. Definitely Silent Planet influence for sure. Done excellently. And then the breakdown has like a squealing sound backed with female whispering and like this dark ambience. So it's really interesting. And then the closer, Passengers, has some of the best lyricism, I feel like, on the whole album. Kind of almost reminds me of a little bit of like metal slam poetry almost with the delivery. It's kind of interesting. It's a cool song. And
That's
so
very Silent Planet.
yeah, exactly. Super Silent Planet. And so if you're looking for something that will bring that dark ambient that with powerful lyricism, a lot of breakdowns, chaotic riffs, great delivery and great production, I think this is the album you should go for, especially if you're looking for Fit for a King, Current, Silent Planet kind of influences. You'll find them all on here.
I mean, that's a good enough pitch for me. If you want me to check out a metalcore album, you compare it to Silent Planet. Yeah, I'm in. Okay, sounds great.
Yep, highly recommend it. And these guys,
yeah, I'm definitely going to check this out.
Less than 8,000 monthly followers or listeners, so they definitely deserve it.
Dang, fire. So Kyle,
excellent. Well,
that brings
folks,
us to you.
This will bring us back to a band that we kind of had to skip over that we've reviewed. My number 5 is Cut, Turn, Fade Back by Hail the Sun.
There we go. There it is.
This is more of a grower for me than I thought it would be. I think it's a really strong showing from them. And it's funny that like us three are so big on this band and enjoy this band so much. Because like everyone I show Hail the Sun to, you know, they recognize it's good stuff and good, but like they're not as in love with it, I feel like, as at least that I am.
I've definitely had the same experience.
Yeah, like people they'll like, I don't know, it must have been the time or what, but like I like that, and that, but like, yeah, the Hail the Sun wasn't for me. And I think that's probably because of the time that we fell in love with it, but also it's great music that I think over time might be more of a grower the more you listen to these albums. And I think that this album, for me, is like the first real grower in their catalog. Because the first time through, I didn't love it. I thought that there were some real hits and some real misses. But when you go through it a little bit more and hear songs like Blight, it's so interesting what they're continuing to do. And they are progressing their sound. And I guess my gripe when I listened to this was that they weren't as much, and maybe as much they aren't, but they're still making really high level music where they're taking risks. I look at a song like Consumed With You and Relapse's Love Affair. Those are very emotional songs that are a little bit lower energy, but have a power to them that I don't really feel like they mastered as much as at least in those two songs in terms of like the ballad, the huge emotions as they did with Consumed With You and Relapse's Love Affair. And you kind of put that against like Blight, The Drooling Class, Live Forever, War Crimes that are kind of more the vintage classic Hail the Sun that we love. And it was hard for me to leave it off this list. I really, really, really enjoyed this album after a couple weeks sitting on it and letting it marinate. And until they give me a reason not to, they'll probably be at least in my top 10 every release.
Honestly, super fair. This band is so consistent. Their run of albums, like I guess what you could probably describe as their modern catalog, starting at New Age Filth, because I think that is kind of where they really cemented this iteration of their sound. Everything since then has been fantastic, like really, really excellent progressive post-hardcore. And I mean, there are some instances where, maybe it's a little more traditional Hail the Sun, not really exploring new avenues. But I mean, you also get songs like Insensitive Tempo, which is just phenomenal. Blight directly following it, which is nuts. And that song in particular is just so crazy. Yeah, I mean, Hail the Sun really and truly is one of the best and most consistent bands doing it right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Kyle, I kind of stand on your opinion of this album before you let it marinate for a few weeks. I think that's kind of where I am right now. And I think this is a good, enjoyable project. And the songs that you mentioned, Drooling Class, I Can Tell by the Scars, War Crimes, I think are really, really good songs. And I enjoy them a lot. For me, they're instant downloads. But the other songs that you mentioned, like Consumed With You, Relapse Is a Love Affair, I just don't like those songs much at all. And maybe I need to go back to them and keep giving them another shot. But I just felt like they were really weak and kind of boring. And I didn't think they stood out much. And so for me, that means that... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No. You weren't done.
Oh no, I was just going to say. So when I take that into account, kind of comparing the other Hail the Sun projects, even recently that they've released, I have to put it below, kind of some of their newer stuff and older stuff. Unfortunately, especially Divine Intertention, which I think is a better, if not much better, album than this, in my opinion.
I think I agree with you. I mean, Divine Intertention and New Age Filth is one of my favorite albums ever,
So
and this
good.
doesn't sniff it. Like, and this isn't better than Divine Intertention. I think the interesting thing to me, and honestly, it's funny comparing this to my EP of the year, but like Consumed with You and Relapse is a Love Affair sort of pushed this over the sixth ledge because it was between this and my number 6 album, and Relapse is a Love Affair is a really intense song about addiction and sort of the dance of addiction and trying to escape addiction, but you can never really escape addiction. like in your sort of inner monologue. And so writing a song about how whatever you're trying to escape from, whether it be a relationship or a drug or a substance, the perspective of it being a love affair is an interesting one that
That feels very classic Hail the Sun.
Yeah, and they do that. They do that often. I just feel like in sort of a more anthem and a real ballad, and those songs build on themselves that I just am intrigued by. Yeah, I just enjoyed that emotional perspective here, and again, I do think there are misses, but overall, I think this is a really really good album that I appreciate seeing their continued consistency and building on what they've done.
Yeah. I would also throw out, like, Kyle, you're talking about, your EP of the year and this being very different. But at their core, I think like one of the things that unites them is both very progressive in the songwriting. And like Hail the Sun, I think is like, obviously the three of us really like Hail the Sun a lot, but we also like really technical music. And I think Hail the Sun is like at times very sneakily technical. Like even when they're doing their more anthemic tracks, like I know y'all don't really like this song as much, but I Made Your Mark is such a simple melodic track, but it also has like the kind of progressive idea of throwing that guitar riff in there and like revolving the hook kind of around it. And so like I think that's kind of the gap between people not really loving this band is like there's a lot of very like subtly very technical and progressive things that Hail the Sun does. Sometimes it's not as subtle. Sometimes it's very in your face, but sometimes even the more melodic tracks, I'm like, when I sit down and listen to it, or like I throw it on with my wife in the car, and I'm like, oh wow, this is more intense or more technical than I remembered it being. My bad.
Yeah.
I would also throw out their consistency with closing tracks, especially, is insane. Because War Crimes, phenomenal track. I mean, go back an album, Under the Floor. Go back an album, Punch Struck. We'll skip Mental Knife.
What?
Anti-Eulogy on Wake is insane. Like,
why would we skip Mental Knife?
Because On Existence is whatever.
No, it's not. That song's great.
Glass Half Empty would have been a better closer on that album.
I was about to say, real ones know the real closer on that record.
True.
And it's Glass Half Empty.
That song is so good.
On Existence is an interlude, so I wouldn't count it anyways.
Oh,
Glass Half Empty. Then hey,
if we're counting Glass Half Empty,
look at that.
There's another one. There's another one.
Point made. Even better.
I think I do kind of agree a little more with Jeff on like some of the misses on here, feeling like Hail the Sun kind of clocking in and clocking out. I think there are a couple misses, particularly in the back half, but the highs are also incredibly high. Like when they're hitting really well. I think for me, to dig into our rankings a little bit and actually properly rank this in their discography, I'm going to put this at the 4 spot, right below New Age Filth, right above Mental Knife.
And again, this speaks to the strength of her discography to me, at least. But I have this at number 5, under Wake, Mental Knife, Divine Intertention, and New Age Filth.
Yeah.
Where, again, like I mentioned, New Age Filth is a top 10 album I've ever listened to. And Divine Intertention is really phenomenal.
So good.
Mental Knife sort of introduced me to this. Mental Knife was one of my introductions to Hail the Sun, so there's a lot of emotion tied there. And then Wake is, I don't know. Yeah, so it just shows how highly I think of this band.
I put this at 5 as well. And Kyle, I didn't remember you were so high on New Age Filth. That's interesting. I didn't realize you had that as a number 1. That's interesting.
And it's only grown as I've gone back to it. Like I'll listen to it once a month.
It is so
and
good.
Just sit on it. It's yeah, I love it.
I'm telling you, the last 3 albums are like, we're getting into some pretty crazy territory with how consistent and reliable Hail the Sun is.
Mm-hmm.
Love this band. Well, folks, is it time to move on?
It's time to move on to your number 5, Nathan.
All right. So I would not be terribly surprised if this one got tabled, to be honest. My number 5 is a debut album.
Oh.
A debut full length, I should say, album from a band called Via Nova, titled "Hit It."
Table it. It's coming later. It's coming later.
I thought it might.
It's coming later. That album is just remarkable. Yeah,
it's really cool. All right, so there's our first tabling of our top 5. I wouldn't be surprised if there are more. All right, Jeff. Well, if you want to table it so bad, what's your number 4?
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if this gets tabled either. My number 4 is "Keep It Quiet" by Grey Haven.
I'm returning the favor. Table it.
Okay.
Table it.
We're gonna fly through our top 5 this year.
All right. We're back to me, folks. What a slingshot.
Yeah.
Man, it's almost as if we were, just here. Goodness. All right. This one we won't table because this band is a little bit, how you describe it, polarizing maybe. And it's very much more my taste. Very much pop punk, post-hardcore coded. But my number 4 favorite album is The Sound a Body Makes When It's Still by Hot Mulligan.
Let it fly.
Again, like I said, pretty polarizing, pretty we're millennial cringe humor. But I've always
the next album is gonna be like adulting is so hard.
Trust me, I understand the how it's viewed, but I've liked Hot Mulligan for a while. I thought their 2023 release was their best by good margin, and I just got into it last year. But again, this is another grower on me where I listened to it all the way through. I said, all right, nice, we're moving on. And it would just keep on coming up on my whatever shuffle I was playing, and I eventually gave it a couple more chances, and I like the ass-shaking groove that they put you in, almost a trance in some of these songs. And it's a very fluid album, but to be completely, I mean, to kill the vibe here, but it's a pretty dense emotional, like album emotionally, just about loss. Specifically, I don't know, I've had some pretty good friends in Denver this year, like move away or pass away. And this came out right around the time that happened. Like the emotion of this album is like most of it is rooted in the lead singer grandmother dying. And like my grandmother's gone downhill quite a bit this year, like mentally. Oh. And so this has been a very helpful album to me.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Just a lot of reflection, personally, for me, while listening through someone else kind of coming to terms with hard things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, that's like the draw of Hot Mulligan, right? Is how vulnerable and intense and just like expertly crafted it is lyrically. While not my thing, I can certainly see that, admire it, and respect it, and how like moving it is for others.
Yeah, no, and like objectively, musically speaking, again, I understand it's not the highest form of songwriting and of writing music. Like I will never act like that because again, I understand the perception of them, but I tie a lot of just life moments to music, and for some reason, this one just kind of came at a good time for me. So I didn't even like really even think that was one of the big reasons, but it is. When I was thinking about it today, I was like, I'll just mention that on the show. I shouldn't have. I should have just said it's a fun. It is. It's fun. It's also a fun album from a musical standpoint, but for some reason, personally struck a chord with me, and I felt like it would be a disservice to not at least mention it.
That's what's so hard talking music sometimes, is that we try to put it into such scientific terms, like the melodies and the rhythms and the production. But I think at its core, music is special because of that emotional connection we tie to it. And so to just say this album has been very comforting and a hard emotional time for me, I think is as good as reason as any to say you like an album.
And it begs the question, what is the highest form of music? Because, I mean, that implies that technicality and progressive songwriting is peak. But I don't know that it is. I don't know if that's true. And I don't know that most people would agree with that. I think, maybe people in the alternative music space might agree with that. But also, I think, generally speaking, that's not necessarily what has widespread, broad appeal. Like, if you look at the biggest artists out there, is it catchy? Is it memorable? Is it relatable? Is it personal? Like, all these kind of things. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with letting emotion drive admiration for an album.
It's really just a shame that emotion is driven on an album that has a song called Monica Lewinsky on it.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
That does sometimes, no.
That is
again,
crazy.
the song titles are tough, and the dichotomy between that song title and Decapitation Ritual is beauty of
I love the
beauty of why we play
on
the
your
game.
list.
Why we play the game. So yeah,
there's a wide range of emotions out there.
Yeah, no, that's what I got. Nathan.
No, but thanks for being so kind of emotionally open about that, Kyle, for sure.
No, I'm more than happy to be vulnerable. I didn't think I was going to get vulnerable, which it was a nice surprise.
Well, if that was a decidedly Kyle pick for a top 5 album, here's one that's decidedly Nathan. My number 4 is an album that really sunk its fangs into me in the second half of this year. My number 4 favorite album is Salvation Laughs in the Face of a Grieving Mother by Psycho Frame.
Yep, there it is.
There it is.
That is a Nathan album baby. Right
there. We're back to our deathcore conversation because what an album. Oh my gosh. And Psycho Frame's kind of interesting because, like, we were doing this show when they formed as a band back in 23. So I was like really tuned in to what was happening on social media. And this band kind of popped off immediately. And I had started following them because, like, yeah, I can tell they're doing something right here. But at the time, it still hadn't really clicked for me yet. Let me tell you, it's clicked. It is all the way clicked. And one thing I love about this band is it almost feels like they kind of have a little chip on their shoulder with just a mission statement to be good old-fashioned deathcore like the MySpace bands used to write. Like this 6-piece band still serves deathcore the old-fashioned way. And I think they've even come out and said, like, we say no to overly symphonic deathcore. We say no to electronically driven elements in our deathcore. We don't do vocal gymnastics or anything like that Will Ramos fellow does over in Lorna Shore. This is just incredibly technical, incredibly fast, whiplash-inducing deathcore. And you know what? If you've never heard a Psycho Frame song, just throw on the first track of this album because you'll get it immediately. You'll understand if you like this band or not within the first 30 seconds because it opens up with a nasty snare hit, a breakdown with a guttural scream, hits you with a quick sample from Resident Evil 7, and then a pair of snare hits and launches off into the most technical riffing and drumming combination I've heard all year. And that's kind of what this album is built on. This whole band's identity and sound is built on juxtaposition and constant back and forths that set up the other side to hit harder when it comes back around. Like vocally, this is a deathcore band with 2 vocalists. Now, usually, heavy music, you see a band with 2 vocalists, you're like, okay, one of them sings. Nope, they both scream. One of them does highs, one of them does lows. And they back and forth between them constantly. And even the way they pair them over each other is ridiculous. It's disgusting. instrumentally, like I kind of mentioned, this album is always going back and forth between incredibly fast blast beat driven sections with ridiculous riffs and leads. And then they pair these really fast sections with the fattest, nastiest chug breakdowns you could comprehend. Like, it is crazy. And another thing, this is definitely harkening back to the MySpace deathcore, but the bass drops they add at the start of these breakdowns are just like comically loud. It's wonderful.
Yes.
And really, this album is kind of the same ideas all the way through it. You know, it's all built on that juxtaposition idea. But some of my favorite songs on here, the opening track, I mean, I can't get away from it. Blueprints for Idle Genocide. It is crazy. And like I mentioned, those snare hits, they do that in a couple different songs on this album. And there's just something about it that activates something in my brain. It's like a warning that we're about to go insane. The portal is absolutely nuts. It opens and closes on ridiculous guitar solos. And there's a part halfway through the song where he yells, "I watch you bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed, breeding mortality, but you can't kill me." That breakdown is just feral, and I love it. And then one more song I'll shout out. Actually, I have two more that I'm going to shout out. Black Wave 2, just relentless, skull crushing music. I'm going to drown you in the Black Wave breakdown around the 2-minute mark. Like, there's something about those ghost hits on the snare that texture the rhythm in such an interesting way, and it's so satisfying. And now the last one I'll shout out here is I Won't Be There to Watch You Go. Just a minute and a half of insanity. The drumming, especially in that song, is such a highlight. And this is one of those albums where, I guess, similar to Hot Mulligan, but could not be more different. It is driven by emotion, and it is just one of the other emotions. Like, if you need to turn your brain off and just let it all out and just get some rage out of your body, this album will do exactly that. And it is just unbelievably consistent and relentless all the way through. And anytime I needed a hit of something heavy this year, this album did the trick. It is insane. And
Awesome
that's my
pick.
pitch for Psycho Frame.
Yeah, I definitely need to listen. I tried to listen to it once. I downloaded Blueprints for Idle Genocide, but then I didn't listen to the rest of the album. So I'll give it a good college try per your recommendation now.
I would recommend the 4 songs I shouted out: Blueprints, The Portal, Black Wave, and I Won't Be There to Watch You Go. I think those are the ones that kind of initially hooked me. And then as I kept coming back to those and listening to the album, like a new song stood out each time where I was like, oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's insane. And it is one of those things where it's like, it's so technical and so overwhelming. Like, they're throwing so much at you in every song that it almost requires multiple listens to like really get a feel, because it's so disorienting the first time around. You're like, oh, I remember that breakdown, but everything else is a blur. And so it definitely took me a couple spins to get really into this, but once it clicked, goodness gracious, it really clicked.
I'm excited to check it out.
It's also so deathcore.
It is.
Salvation laughs in the face of a grieving mother. Like, that's so ridiculous. I also randomly saw this band live, which was crazy. I wish I bought a shirt.
Oh, wait. Yeah. No, it's funny because Nathan, I sent you guys like, hey, send me something that's so heavy. It's like one of my buddies was just getting into deathcore, and like he liked Fit for an Autopsy. I was like, all right, man, I'll like I sent him some more stuff, but I was just like, they have heavier stuff than I do, like than my Rolodex allows. And you sent me this, and I sent this over to him. He was like, that did the trick.
That's awesome.
There's just something about it. It's like, it's too much to comprehend. You just got to feel it.
It just melts your brain.
It does have the thing you don't like. There's a lot of highs on here. There are a lot of highs on here, but I love it so much. All right. There's our deathcore corner. I'm assuming y'all probably don't have any more. So, deathcore fans, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. No, it's such
Take
an
it
Nathan
easy.
album.
It is. It totally is.
Speaking
All right,
of,
we got 3 spots. Yeah.
speaking of a Nathan album, I'm gonna send it right back to you because my number 3
boy.
is "Hit It" by Villanova. And Nathan, I'll toss it to you first because you had them ranked at number 5.
I feel like I got to catch my breath. I just monologued about a deathcore band.
Oh, I can talk about them for a little bit if you want me to.
You kick this off. You kick this off.
Okay. The only reason this album is not higher is because it came out a bit later in the year compared to my 1 and 2s. Otherwise, I think this would likely be higher on my list. That's how much I really love this album. I've never listened to anything like this before. I truly haven't. I mean, this really is so progressive in so many different ways. I really haven't experienced an album like this than the first time I listened to this album. And if you haven't listened to this album, I highly recommend you just turn it on and just listen to the whole thing straight. It is so compelling. It's hard to turn off. They describe themselves as angry dance music. I can't really find a better way to describe it. I mean, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
These songs are funky, they're groovy, but they maintain a heaviness that never gets lost on any of these tracks. It's always metal at the end of the day, even on top of all of the funk, R&B bits, the saxophones, the feeling like you're kind of in a cigar lounge, you know, feeling with like background piano and that smoky feeling. There's still metal there. It's never lost. And I think that's the most remarkable thing about this album. The vocal performance is great. It really reminds me of that more kind of high-pitched nasally above below, which I love very much. So I love the vocal performance on here. And these guys are from Berlin, which is really cool. So Germany sending us some great music. I think from the opening of this album, it kind of starts with like an ambient guitar, distorted cleans, and this band actually was on the deluxe remix of Thornhill's new album. So I'm just, no spoilers or anything,
Really?
but they were on the deluxe. And so, but this is a very Thornhill inspired song, it feels like to me. But man, and then after that, you have Mas Rapido, which has like that above below delivery, raspy, high pitched. But it's almost like as if Above Below had more funk, a little more chaotic, and then like a ridiculous breakdown in the middle with like a harp run that happens. It's so fun.
So cool. It's so cool.
Wheel of Fortune has a really bouncy kind of like major key riff that keeps things light and is such a fun listen. And then Oh No Believer has like this like strong Kendrick Lamar almost influence at the beginning, and then goes into like a really well delivered verse, and becomes a slightly more conventional but interesting, heavy, funky, bouncing metal song. But I think the back half of this album is where things really start to shine. At least in my opinion, things really start to shine. Marimba has a really cool, funky riff. Melanchthonic is one of the best songs I've listened to the entire year. Whatever All Right starts with this funky dance beat pop song, clapping, and then the guitar comes in, but it still has that clapping pop beat behind it. And the whole time you just want to bob your head to it. And then the last 30 seconds has the most ridiculous, chaotic, insane breakdown you could ever hope for. It's just so ridiculous. And
it's so sick.
And the whiplash on this album is so great. And, you know, whiplash really is a double-edged sword. Sometimes whiplash can be really bad. If the songs just don't make sense, if there's like no overlying theme, if the structure is strange. But here it just keeps you on your toes and is so fun to listen to. Future Nostalgia has a really cool ambience and this like melodic ambient piano in the background. And then there's this choral singing, and it has this high-pitched rapid screaming that happens and then goes right back to the melody of the chorus. Like we're just supposed to forget that he, for a second, like went deathcore and like had high-pitched rapid screaming and then came back. It's amazing. Yaya, I mean, this is such a heavy song, but it starts with this R&B, jazz, funk cleans with this guitar and the strings, and then the guitars just slam in with this low guttural scream, and it really gives you breakneck whiplash in the best way possible. It's such an experience, and finally the album ends with Obsolete, which is such a cool
Incredible.
song. So
Incredible.
catchy. And this is like that cigar lounge, smoky feeling. It starts with this saxophone and piano. It feels like you're in a jazz bar. And then the cleans come in with some distortion. And then there's a piano ballad, and then the riff comes in and it punches you in the face. And throughout the song is about how humans are going to become obsolete to AI. And it's like kind of repeating, like, we're just going to be bags of meat, we're obsolete. And then throughout the song, he becomes more and more frantic with the saying, like, we're going to be obsolete, we're going to become bags of meat. And it's just a beautiful way of having that lyrical content be supplemented by the musical choices, right? And it's absolutely such a good song. And I don't know if I really described this album well as I was bouncing from song to song, but all in all, it is such a unique progressive metal experience. It includes things as far as saxophones, harps, chimes, chorals experience. It has some synths, and the whole time it is heavy and relentless, and it's so fun, and I just love it. There's nothing else like it.
Yeah. I would say this is one of the most fun albums of the year. Like,
Yeah,
just
for sure.
carefree. We're via Nova. You either get it or you don't. We don't really care. Like, we're stoked if you do, but that's not what we're doing it for. And it's simply like one of the most exciting debuts I've heard in a long time, I think. Just incredible how much personality it has. And I think this album is at its best when it's leaning into that kind of off-center, different personality that this band has. Because I will say, I think this album might be the most hit or miss on my list. I mean, I do have it at number 5 because I do think there are some songs like that I'm not as high on that kind of sound more in line with some other just kind of modern metalcore ideas. Like Wheel of Fortune is one that truthfully doesn't stick out as particularly memorable to me. Melanchthonic, I think, is like solid. And then Jeff, I would even include Future Nostalgia in that because to me that's very like Deftones Loathe. Like it's a really good version of it, but it's just compared to when this band is doing something totally new. I'm taking the totally new thing every time. And also, crazy fact, I was gonna be like, yeah, I found this band when they dropped Mas Rapido, in 2024. And so I looked at my Stats FM to double check that. I had 2 streams from this band in 2023. When they were a much more kind of straight line gent band, like without this big kind of larger than life personality. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So I just had to flex that real quick. But I will say, if you like gent and you like this album, I'd recommend checking out that older stuff. Like, it's pretty fun. I wouldn't say it's as fun as this, but they really elevated their sound with Mas Rapido. Because that song, I mean, Jeff, you mentioned it. The breakdown with the harp run in it is so crazy.
So awesome.
It's so cool. But to me, the highlights are all the songs you mentioned in the back half. Whatever, All Right, with that darker electronic edge, the kind of soft-spoken vocal delivery, and the way that song keeps building and building, and they keep introducing more and more aggressive metalcore elements into it, like different drops, different breakdown grooves, and eventually elevating all the way to like blast beats and the screaming and that crazy breakdown that closes it out. Like, it's such a great elevation and progression through that song. It's so fun. That is a 10 out of 10 track. Yaya, just pure aggression. And the way the rhythm and the grooves keep changing again and again throughout the song is so fun. And it's one of those things, like within that song you get whiplash from how quickly they're changing grooves. And you pointed out the breakdown at the end of Whatever, All Right. I see you and I raise you the breakdown at the end of this song.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite moments of the album, and maybe even the year, because the way that dropped guitar tone is produced is insane. Like, I don't think I've heard anything like that. Like, I don't know what those sounds are, because you have that crazy low end, but it also has like a higher frequency in there. And it's like, And it's not the first drop in the breakdown. There's like 3 different times that this breakdown drops tuning again, and it's that last one. Oh, it's just insane. Like, I don't know how they got that tone, but it is ridiculous. And I could not stop listening to that song, specifically the last minute of it.
Yeah.
That's a 10 out of 10 track.
Yeah, and he goes from the low guttural screams to like this high pitched, almost like he's in pain scream.
That scream is nuts. It's so crazy.
Remarkable.
And there's one more 10 out of 10 song on here. Jeff, you mentioned it. You spoke on it well. Obsolete is insane. Like, yes, the jazz piano intro, but like even when that guitar riff comes in, the piano is still in there and it sounds so amazing. And like that song has such a dramatic, melancholic edge to it. Like it feels like such a grand finale on this album. And the bridge coming out of the chorus around the 2-minute mark is like one of those transcendent music moments where you just start floating.
Yes.
When those blast beats come in and the chord progression, the background vocals, and then it develops again and you get the screams over it. Like, oh my gosh, dude. So on the back half of this album, you have 3 10 out of 10 tracks. So when this album is hitting, it is hitting at an unbelievable clip. Like the best songs on here are amazing. Like, oh no, you mentioned also the blast beats that come in and out of that song are so fun. That funk, that like West Coast hip hop influence too. Like, it's like they're throwing in so many different ideas on here that I have not heard put together quite like this. And they have so much range. Like they almost reach into that Pale Dusk range of like every time this band puts out a song, it is like stop what you're doing and listen material because you might hear something new that you've never heard before.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that gets me excited, especially when I consider that this is a debut album and it already has so much personality. This band popped off this year. They had a big year, and I'm so excited to see where they go from here.
Yeah, they have unlimited potential. And so I cannot wait I cannot wait to keep listening to this over and over and then see what they release next.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Kyle, I think you might enjoy this. I think this would be worth checking out.
You would love this, Kyle.
Oh, I am planning on it. I'm having FOMO right now.
Dude, this is
so up your alley.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah, I'm fired up. I like it. I will almost certainly listen to it, and by next week I will be wishing it was in my top 5 more than likely. It happens every year.
We can't get to everything.
Can't. That's why we got each other.
It's true.
That's why we
Kyle,
have.
What else is in your top 5?
Yeah.
Well, this is another one that we had to pass up. Four bands we've already covered. My third favorite is Lonely God by Fit for a King.
Super valid.
I like Fit for a King. That's a big take. That's a big stance.
That's very brave.
I like Fit for a King. I always have, and I think that this is a real lovely return to what they're good at. And that is making some breakneck riffs, some enormous breakdowns, some beautiful choruses. And it really is just a classic Fit for a King record. And it's something I've been waiting for, something I've been looking forward to. I think when you kick an album off with a song like Begin the Sacrifice, Into the Temple, Into Extinction, all 3 of those songs are, in my opinion, very heavy hitters. You kind of slow it down throughout the album with songs like No Tomorrow, and I was literally just listening to one. I think it was Between Us, but yeah, where they do a good job of pacing the record and going towards what I don't know. They're playing complimentary baseball out there, and I love this album. I think the best song on the album is Monolith with the Alpha Wolf. I think the Alpha Wolf feature is sweet. Yeah. And it's and like my disappointment with the Devil Wears Prada for just kind of putting out slop, with We Came as Romans for doing the same thing. The reason I like this so much is there is a slight nostalgia to it. of I'm not disappointed with the band that I deeply love ripping again. And like it's fun to go back and listen to new stuff that's like it's stuff that I've been looking forward to for I don't know how many years since 2018 really since Dark Skies came out. They didn't have this arsenal with them in my opinion at least with The Path or The Hell We
No.
Create.
No.
I genuinely disliked both of those albums to the point where I had written Fit for a King off. And so for them to drop Lonely God 7 years later or 8 years later or whatever, or 6 years later I'm so happy with it. And I really, really enjoyed the listening process. Saw them live. It was awesome. It's funny to have them and Spite on the same ticket. For those who have gone to that show, it's a real it's a real juxtaposition. But I love this album.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, I was also kind of in the camp of I'd written Fit for a King off. Not in the sense that, The Hell We Create was fine. Like, I just think I'm so far removed from like the just straight ahead metalcore thing that I was kind of like, yeah, Fit for a King's not for me anymore, and that's okay. And then this album comes out, and I'm like, okay, maybe Fit for a King is still for me, because there are some songs on here that are really good. The one that stands out to me as head and shoulders above anything they've released, maybe since Death Grip, is Witness the End. That song is absolutely incredible. And, we may or may not have had this conversation on the Patreon earlier this year. For me, that might be a top 10 Fit for a King song. I love everything they're doing there, from the blast beat driven verses, the fantastic kind of more atmospheric, theatrical even hook, the guitar solo, the bridge, the breakdown. Like, it's all so good. And maybe it's not the best song since Death Grip, because Oblivion does exist, but that is also a very similar song to this. Both just so good. That song with the Chris Motionless feature as well is just Ryan and Chris kind of reminding everyone, hey, we're pretty good at this whole screaming thing. And it is incredible. Other songs that really stood out to me on here, Lonely God, I would say probably their best straight ahead, just kind of like heavy Fit for a King track since Dark Skies as well. Love the rhythms throughout it. Blue Venom, good, short and heavy. Technium, also kind of the same thing. Like, yeah, I was really impressed with this, especially considering I had kind of written them off.
I'm with both you guys on this. I think this album is quite good. I mean, having short and heavy songs like Extinction and Blue Venom, and then the longer tracks, Nathan, like you brought up, Witness the End. Kyle, Begin the Sacrifice, obviously a great song. Monolith with Alpha Wolf, great tracks. For me, the problem is kind of in the back half. I feel like there are some weaker songs that keep this from being a truly great, no skippable Fit for a King album. I'm specifically kind of looking at Between Us, Sentient, and even Technium with The Plot in You I'm not too big on. But aside from those three songs, I think the rest of the album is really good. And I especially like the short and heavy songs that they threw in there, Extinction and Blue Venom, because, especially in the last two albums, we really haven't had anything quite like that. And so just having these really just heavy focused songs were very refreshing. Easily.
You know what's sad?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Jeff, I didn't mean to cut you off like that. I was going to say, you know what's sad? This isn't even very high on my list. Like, it's just going at 6 above The Hell We Create.
Me too.
But that's not a slight to this album. It is a testament to how strong early Fit for a King was, with Descendants, Creative Destruction, Slave to Nothing, Death Grip, Dark Skies. Like, that's a pretty monumental run right there.
I'm putting it actually one over Creation Destruction and right below Death Grip on number 4 on my list. I thoroughly enjoy this album. I love the pacing. Even the songs that I guess I wouldn't be gravitated towards on a standalone basis, I think fit really well in the album. And like, yeah, I like it. And like Technium, I don't think there's anything wrong with Technium in my opinion, but
no, I agree. I like Technium.
All right.
Yeah.
I think it fits well. Good album. It's good to see the boys back.
Yeah, we're so back. Fit for a
I
King,
was
we're
talking about
back.
I was talking about Fit for a King, but yeah.
I know. I'm saying
Oh,
we're back for them. Fit for a King
excuse
is
me.
back. By extension, we're back.
Yeah, we love to see them do well.
We do. We love the boys.
Nathan?
So my number 3 is going to be another heavy one. Can you believe it? We're looking at A Door Left Open by Orthodox.
Wow.
And I'll be the first to admit, Orthodox is a name I was familiar with because I had seen some people hyping them up, but I had never really checked them out in depth. But, must have been a slow release day or something. I was like, yeah, I'll check out the new Orthodox album. And I am so glad I did because this is awesome. This is a phenomenal album. And, I might or might not have mentioned in the bonus episode where we're talking about our 6 through 10 that I was really drawn to metalcore bands that really leaned into the groove driven, raw, hardcore side of the sound this year. And this 100% falls in line with that. And for me, this is my favorite version of that we got this year. It is the epitome of heavy, aggressive, and just downright angry hardcore. Like it's one of those albums where the raw energy of the band comes through the album. Like, and I wouldn't necessarily say like the production is raw. Like this album sounds massive. So it's very well produced. But there's just something about this where that energy, that oomph behind every hit is just conveyed with so much conviction that it's just there's a vicious energy on here and it is so fun to listen to. And you can really feel it from the jump with Can You Save Me, which just blows down the door with these massive hits before throwing you right into a breakdown. And then the rest of that song is kind of back and forth between these different tempos, and we're going fast and then we're pulling back for the breakdown. And then that just throws you straight into Body Chalk, which again hits you with so many different grooves that it's almost overwhelming. And I will say, this album grabs you by the neck and never lets go. And it's incredibly consistent. But man, there's something about the back half of this album. That's what pushed it up this list. The back half of this album, I can tell you the exact moment that they elevate their sound. And it's like 1 minute into Godless Grace. They hit this nasty riff. And then from then on, the sound operates on that second tier and they never look back. Keep Your Blessings. There's this buildup in that song where it keeps getting faster and louder before they eventually drop the tempo back through the floor into this crazy breakdown. And it's stuff like that that gets me so pumped up. It's just that energy coursing through the album. And then, I was talking about 10 out of 10 songs with Villanova's album. There's a handful on here. Sacred Place. Every time I hear that intro, ba-na-na-na-na-na-na, like that riff, it just sends my brain into a feral state and it makes me want to throw hands, especially when the full instrumentation comes in with that groove under it. Pure energy. The other 10 out of 10 back here, Searching for a Pulse, is just wild. That riff that opens the song is so crazy. Like it's just blistering. It's fast. It hits so hard. That's another one of my absolute favorite songs of the year. And Kyle, you were talking about when you asked us to send over heavy tracks because you were fueling for a friend. I think I sent a Psycho Frame song and I think I sent an Orthodox song. And I can't remember if it was Sacred Place or Searching for a Pulse, but it was definitely one of those. And it's just that energy. Like it's a very different heavy than Psycho Frame is. But man, there's no way that you can listen to this album and sit still. So if you like stank face inducing metalcore, you like the groovy hardcore, just kind of chugging breakdowns with some crazy riffs thrown in, kind of like a Boundaries or a Justice for the Damned, you gotta check this out. And if you're unsure after the first track, skip ahead to Keep Your Blessings and start there, because the back half of this album, like I said, is insane.
I'm listening to a little bit of it right now, and this is definitely up my alley compared to Psycho.
Oh yeah,
this is way more my taste.
Jeff, this seems like something that you would really like.
I agree.
It is excellent.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna save this and take a listen.
It's so good, dude. I mean, every time I listen to it, I'm all in on it. I cannot listen to it passively. Like, I have to be moving when I listen to this. It takes over. It takes over. It's so good. And so, Jeff, on that note, sending it back over to you.
Yeah, no, that's a great choice. And I think my next album is definitely going to get tabled. But my number 2 album of the year is I Don't Want to See You in Heaven by the Callous Dow Boys.
That's also my number 2.
Table it.
Oh, baby.
Table it.
We're going to have a good discussion about that one.
Yeah, so it seems like Nathan's number 2 is my number 1, and we can talk about it right now then, if that's the case.
Oh, you think so? Is it something we might have tabled earlier?
I mean, it has to be.
It has to be, right?
This,
yeah. It has to be, right? My number 1,
so.
just to maintain
You're number 2.
Here.
You're number 2. You're number 2.
You're right. My number 2, to maintain order here. You're number 1, potentially. Greyhaven, Keep It Quiet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great one. There it is.
Just so good, man.
We want to talk about this now?
Yeah, of course. All three of us have it on our list.
God, dude, what a beauty.
Take it away, Kyle. It's your number 1, man.
That's true. It's a great point. This album being kind of the return of Greyhaven, I really love. And this Bright and Beautiful World that came out in 2022 is a good album.
Yes, it is.
This band scratched the itch for me with Empty Black. And it's almost something that you can't describe. Their style of metal and their style of this type of music. You don't know what's hiding behind the other corner, but you can kind of guess. But you still don't really know. And the way that the vocals are delivered, the cleans, the screams, the instrumentation, it's just kind of a beautiful crescendo. And this album is no different. And you get the chaos. I mean, like, and we kind of talked about it on the episode that we did with Brent from Greyhaven of like the Prelude Evening Star song is such a good encapsulation of what this album can have in store for you, where there is that chaos element at the end that's where you're just like, where did that come from? But it starts with something that's like, all right, what's going to happen? It's a build, it's a soft build, and then it just goes straight into something that you would expect for the second track to be. And the second track, Shatter and Burst, is one of the best. And it's huge, it's manic, it's delivered so powerfully and unbelievably. And it's so Greyhaven. This album has no misses. It's got no skips. The highlight for me is the three song stretch, Burn a Miracle, Where the Light Leaves Us, Night in October, where, man, if you're looking for Greyhaven, listen to those 3 songs. It's just it shows their whole artistic muscles flexing, and it is and Burn the Miracle when he hits him with a do it. It's so good. Yeah. And then Cemetery Sun is one of the best closers of the year, and I love this. I love it.
It's fantastic. I mean, look, we all. Well, actually, I won't speak for everyone here because Jeff, I don't know where you stand on Empty Black. I think you like it, but like we're all kind of Empty Black truthers.
Dude, I love that album. Love it.
Yeah, I thought so. But as I was saying it, I was like, wait, are we all on the same page there? Yeah, that album's incredible. We're all Empty Black enjoyers in this house. This might be their best album.
Oh, I don't know.
And that's really saying something because, like I said, Empty Black holds a really special place in my heart. But man, when I think about this album, it really does feel like the culmination of everything it is that Greyhaven has been going for throughout their discography. The heavy parts are as chaotic as they've ever been. The melodic parts are catchier than ever, and it all just gels in a way that feels incredibly unique to this album. This album just has an unbelievable flow to it. Obviously, from song to song for sure, but also within the songs. Like the way these songs flow from part to part is so amazing, and it's so cohesive and smooth that the listening experience, you're going from these crazy, chaotic parts to these incredible melodies, and they're layering over each other. It's two very different sounds, but they nail them so perfectly that it all comes together so well. And like Kyle, like you said, this band's sound is so specific to them. And there's not another band that sounds like Grey Haven, partially because of their riff style being that I don't even know. It's not like Every Time I Die, but it's not like the traditional metalcore thing. It's somewhere in between. And then Brent's vocals shine. Like he ties it all together for me on this album. His vocal matches the style so well. His screams are fantastic. His singing on here is unbelievable. And man, this feels like the most refined version of Grey Haven. And their single selection on here was peak. Because Kyle, you said it, Burn a Miracle is incredible. Cemetery Sun, top 5 Grey Haven song. I don't even think it's a real conversation. Like that is pretty obviously one of the best songs they've ever written. Kyle, I laughed when you said your 3-song run because my favorite 3-song run on this album picks up right after that with Technicolor Blues, Satellite and Love, and From the Backseat of a Moving Car. Or is it vehicle? From the backseat. From the backseat of a moving car. That run of songs showcases Grey Haven, obviously doing the classic Grey Haven thing with songs like Satellite and Love and From the Backseat. But Technicolor Blues,
Yeah, bro.
the blues Western influence all throughout that song is so awesome. And I really hope they continue to explore that arena in future releases because they do it so well and it gels with their sound so well. And there's not a lot of bands playing with that soundscape. And so to hear Grey Haven do it, it's like, oh my gosh, I need more of this. When the band comes in full with the chorus where it yells, yeah, like it just blows you back. It's so excellent. This album, Kyle, I agree, no skips. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. After not giving their previous full length maybe the full attempt of listening that I maybe should have, I loved their last EP. So I was really looking to this album, and I think it delivered more than I think what any of our expectations were. And I think this album is fantastic from beginning to end. I would argue it's probably their most polished and mature record in their discography.
Yeah.
And I would also argue maybe even their most accessible. I think this album leans a bit more post-hardcore than traditional metalcore or more metal that they've done in the past. But I think that slight pivot of the more melodic, more clean focused, less like breakdown heavy, I think it really works with their style. And I think that's why this album is such a pleasure to listen to. And like what you were saying with Brent's vocals, they're so silky smooth on this album. I can't get enough of them. It hits my ear in the best way possible. And I always just like Technicolor Blues. Dude, the first half of that album just showcases how amazing his voice is. And then the second half just showcases how great the band is in general. Like that song is so technically perfect. I love it so much. I really don't have much else to say besides what you already said about this album. Cemetery Sun is one of the best songs in their entire discography. Technicolor Blues is great. Shatter and Burst, Burn a Miracle. You can't go wrong with any song on here. This is a near perfect album, and they should be really proud of the work that they put out.
Yeah. Chef, what do you have at number 1? Like I'm
I'm
racking my
so
brain trying
interested.
to think of what this could possibly be.
You guys know. You already know what it is. You just can't bring yourself to say it, but you know in your heart of hearts, you know exactly what's going at that number 1.
Sleep Token, even in Arcadia.
No, but close.
Close.
My number 1 is Bodies by Thornhill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I genuinely had no idea. I was like
you didn't?
genuinely racking my brain trying to think of what am I forgetting.
I thought I was hinting at it with the
Yeah.
Villanova feature on that.
Oh, you
the
totally
Deluxe of
did.
Thornhill.
You totally did.
I'll be short and quick because I think the longer discussion is deserved for Calistab Boys since it's on all of our lists. But I've just grown to love Thornhill so much, and I think they create such a remarkable soundscape that, in my opinion, they are kind of uniquely broadcasting in the scene. I personally, unlike I think you guys, have enjoyed all of their works to this point. I loved Heroin.
Clip that.
You what? Yo, don't say that again, bro.
Oh, wait, I thought you guys were laughing at my album. I didn't realize I said, okay. I thought you guys were laughing at me saying I like the album. So
No,
it's like,
no.
okay.
Clip it.
I love Thornhill's previous LP, Heroin, and
I love Thornhill's previous LP, Heroin, and also Cocaine.
I love Heroin and I love Bodies.
have you guys had your fun yet?
What's going on there?
You guys,
Let's unpack that.
This is a good album too. I'm sorry, Jeff. This is good stuff.
I will say, for those that aren't on the Patreon, this exact thing happened with my number 10. So I'm not even upset about it right now. So
This is better than your number 10, though.
oh, for sure. For sure. Not even close. So
It's about 10 albums better.
okay. Compared to their last LP, this album is a lot more raw in its production. Their last LP was almost overproduced in a lot of ways. They're going for that theatrical feeling. Everything was perfectly cut. It sounded great. This one is a lot more of a raw production. I think that's on purpose because the whole album is kind of about the power of desire and how desiring for something too much can unravel your life. And I think that the production is purposeful in that way. The album is heavier, moodier, and heavier. Did I say that already? It's heavier, moodier, and focused on more of the metal elements that maybe I think a lot of fans felt like were lost in their previous LP. And here, in a lot of these songs, you find a return of those heavier elements. And I think a way that I really appreciate and makes me like this album a lot more than their previous project. But even with them returning to some of the heavier roots that kind of they had in their earlier projects, they still maintain that some of that ambient sensualness and kind of that romantic feeling that they had on their previous record, which I think is really cool. And I think they're able to nail both of the sounds on here and yet have a more raw performance, both vocally and then in the instrumentation. That creates a really, really interesting project. And I think compared to the Dark Pool, and I keep getting tripped up because I don't want to say Heroin. And so I keep having to say their previous project. But compared to that,
Say whatever you want, Jeff.
This is certainly a change in their sound. And I think it's for the best. And I really, really enjoy it. Obviously starts out with a really heavy riff in Diesel. And then you have Nerve being two of the heavier cuts on the record. But then you have softer songs like Revolver with one of the most beautiful choruses in their discography. Silver Swarm is my favorite song on the album. And Only Ever You, which sounds like a song off Heroin, but I think it really works here with the lingering vocals and the softer instrumentation. And I would be remiss to not mention Crush, which I think is a very polarizing song on the album. It's kind of has that more, it's a complete shift into an R&B pop beat with just clean vocals over the beat. And I really like it. And I really like the way that the song kind of helps to refocus desire and that theme of the album into more of almost like a positive before coming back and returning to its destructive qualities. And so all in all, I think for me, Thornhill scratches a particular sonical itch that I don't think either of you guys have. But I think this is a real step forward in their sound and in a way that I think they corrected a lot of the, not mistakes, but choices that they made in their previous LP, which was being softer, removing a lot of the heavier elements, and those return. And on top of that, they have more of this raw sound where not everything is so overproduced anymore. And so if you like Thornhill, but you like their older stuff, you like their more metal influences, and you want to return to some of their heavier aspects, I would definitely check out this album. It's fantastic and definitely my favorite of the year.
That makes sense.
Short and sweet. I know we have a big album to talk about next, so I won't hold you up.
No, I do like this album though. all things considered. I like the attitude on it, and I think you did it justice. It's a great listen.
Thank you, Kyle.
Not my number one, but good.
Not your number 25, not your number 50.
Well, I could have seen a world where I gave it a honorable mention.
I'll take that.
This is not that world, but I enjoy it.
That's awesome. All right.
Well,
it's on all our lists. It's my number one. It's the Callous Dowboys. I Don't Want to See You in Heaven.
It's a masterpiece.
First guest on the show, Carson Pace, has
Is that
come
right?
back around. Yeah.
Let's go.
And this album, Jeff, you said it, masterpiece. Simply put, this is the single most exciting and interesting album that came out this year and feels like it should be, and seemingly has been, a pretty massive release for the Callous Dowboys. And I think truly the highest praise that I could give this album is that it is uncompromisingly the Callous Dowboys. They're doing so many different things on here sonically, pushing their sound into some new directions, yet all of it feels so true to who they are as artists. And their sound is so unique. No one else is doing it like them. So unique that it's instantly recognizable as the Callous Dowboys. And I think the singles that they chose for this album do a really good job of highlighting the sonic range on this album. Two-Headed Trout is a perfect introduction to this band if you've never heard them before. You get a big, catchy melodic hook in there and absolutely mental riffs. That breakdown in that song is amazing. And it's just like you get both sides of their personality there. The Demon of Unreality, Limping Like a Dog, the second part of that initial set of singles they released, just a great heavy track. Lemon, one of the most unique songs on here, definitely pushes their sound into some new territory with a fully melodic track. And yet it still feels so the Callous Dowboys with all those interesting samples of ice in a glass is what it sounds like. You get that bubbly synth in there too. It's so unique and it's so catchy. And Distracted by the Mona Lisa is the Callous Dowboys take on Easy Core. There's so much range on here and there's so much to enjoy on here. And the singles are great, but man, you start digging in more on this album and you are rewarded greatly. Body Horror for Birds, coming right out of Lemon, just how cinematic that track is so cool and so unique. Again, as a song for them, and you could even say just as a song. The way that song hits its climax with all the electronic elements and the strings, it is surreal. And I also love how vulnerable the lyrics are there with lines like, I can't wait to show you the 1% better I got. Just feels like such a real thing to say. That track is fantastic. Tears on Lambo Leather, just one of a few nutty tracks on here. Also, Orthodox feature in that song, by the way. Comically heavy breakdown at the end. But I think my favorite moment on this album is the 1-2 punch of Idiot Temptation Force and Douchebag Safari. Just two ridiculous songs that no other band feels like they could put together. Because, Idiot Temptation Force obviously has the iconic Ugga Boo Ugga Boo Boo Ugga call out. And that breakdown at the end with that callback coming back is so absurdly peak. And then Douchebag Safari has arguably the wildest production on any song this year, with those massive synths. That song just feels like it's going to blow my speakers out every time I listen to it. And I recognize I've kind of gone track by track, but every track has something worth shouting out. Everything they're doing on here is so unique. This is the single-handedly most interesting album I've heard in a while, to be quite honest. It's so interesting. It's so fun. The framing of the album, it being a collection of long lost tapes now on display in the Museum of Failure. Who else? Who else would do that? Like, that's so weird and so the Callous Cowboys. That's all I can say about this album is it is so the Callous Cowboys in all the best ways. This album is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything you said in just the uniqueness and the creativity and the passion that's clearly into this project. It's funny because like Body Horror for Birds is kind of like the break between the first and the second half of the album. And the
Mhm.
second half of the album almost feels like a descent into madness with the Demon of Unreality, Idiot Temptation Force, Douchebag Safari, like you said. But then you break it up with a cool easy core song like Distracted by the Mona Lisa into whatever weird meta thing they're doing with Opt Out and Country Song. And Country Song in Reverse is,
Crazy.
I rarely am down with an 11-minute song in general. I am even more rarely down for an 11-minute outro that has 4 minutes of kind of interlude activity in it. Like this song is
It's crazy, dude.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, it's 3 great songs in one. It's an EP in and of itself, and it
Yeah.
is so good. It's such a great end to the album, and the bookends, if you don't consider the collection of Forgotten Dreams as a real song, because it isn't, but of Schizophrenia Legacy and Country Song in Reverse. And like, I know collection of Forgotten Dreams is kind of like sets the tone for the
It
theme
sets
of
the
the
stage
album.
for the
And
premise.
yeah, and that Opt Out and Country Song in Reverse are its own storyline and its own thing. But like the first real song being Schizophrenia Legacy. I mean, God, man, there's nothing bad to say about the album. It really isn't.
Nope.
Even the more low paced songs like Lemon tells a story and is really really fun, and I'm down with it. And I'm down with it because of the pacing of the album and just you never know what's next. And you have these more commercial quote unquote commercial songs like Lemon and Distracted by the Mona Lisa. But I mean, they're bookended by Tears of Lambo Leather, and it's like the Demon of Unreality.
Yeah.
It's masterful stuff. I mean, the creativity that goes into this, I cannot even fathom.
It's chaotic, it's creative, it's catchy. I have all these C adjectives written down for this album, and I think it kind of fits as a way to like
Callous.
kind of just showcase what this album is all about. But I don't really know how else to kind of describe it other than those things. I mean, you start with, like Kyle said, you start with Schizophrenia Legacy, truly, and that frantic screaming, I think, is a really great introduction to the album, actually, and what to expect throughout the rest of the experience. But even that has like a funky, clean portion in it. It's not just full chaos. Like, you know, the song has a bunch of different sections and samples and different instruments, and so it's almost like controlled chaos in a way, which I think is fascinating, and it takes real expertise to be able to do that well. And I think that is really the testament to how great this album is that they're able to pull it off. Full Moon Guidance, the riff is insane, but that song has no reason to have such a catchy chorus. You know, like why? It's so catchy. I think really what sold this album for me is you have Lemon and Body Horror for Birds, which you guys brought up, but Body Horror for Birds is such a mature song. In many ways, a kind of immature album, like in a sense, like it's kind of silly, it's fun, we're having fun here, it's frantic. But Body Horror for Birds is very mature. And I think when I heard that, I realized, no, we're getting like a complete album experience with this. You have the fun, frantic stuff, you have the mature, you have the more accessible songs, Kyle, like you mentioned, and Nathan too, Lemon, and Distracted by the Mona Lisa. And so, you know, from beginning to end, you're really getting the full experience here. And then Country Song in Reverse is essentially their apotheosis. It's essentially 11 minutes of what makes Callous Cowboys the Callous Cowboys in one like song. In just that 11 minutes, It has everything. It's like, this is the Callous Cowboys right here, which I think is really cool. It's a great encapsulation of what kind of band they are. The album is perfectly produced. Saxophones, there's synths, choral harmony. You know, it's frantic. It's a great mathcore, you know, masterpiece, and they should be very proud.
Yeah. Kyle, I will circle back to what you said about the last 3 tracks on here: Distracted by the Mona Lisa, Opt Out, and Country Song in Reverse. and the meta framing of those songs is absolutely brilliant. It allows them to have their cake and eat it too. Because in many ways, Distracted by the Mona Lisa acts as a closer to this album. Like it is a closer to the mainline album in the way it's kind of framed with Opt Out following it. It's like, we found another tape in our collection. Be warned, what you're about to hear is meant to challenge, meant to provoke. And like, it's like allowing them to then have a very Callous Cowboys closing track. Like we kind of talked about it with Nirvana, where they get it all out of their system in the bonus track. Except they don't get it all out of their system. It's all over the place on this album, but it's really concentrated there. And so you have a closing track like Distracted by the Mona Lisa, and then you have the real closing track like Country Song in Reverse. And the framing of the album, allowing them to do that, is so masterfully crafted. It's genius. And that's the thing about this album. It's like Jeff said, controlled chaos. Everything feels so calculated and placed right where it's meant to be, to maximize the chaos, to maximize the efficiency, the effectiveness. Like everything is right where it needs to be for this to come together into an incredible album. I was blown away by this. It's amazing. I cannot wait to hear more from these guys.
Likewise.
Yeah, well put. Well said.
All right. We got two more things. One, really briefly. Are there any albums that we want to shout out that didn't make the list? There are honorable mentions, if you will. Just really briefly.
Yes.
Across all music or just genre?
All music, baby. Let it rip. Let it fly.
All right. Jeff, go for it.
Well, I was going to shout out the new Acacia's Train album. You Are Safe from God Here. I think that album is great. Honorable mention. New World Heat by Fox Lake. I'm going to shout that out on my list. Shout them out.
I would too.
That is an honorable mention for sure. Outside of the scene, the new Clips album. Been listening to it the entire year. Fantastic. And the new Freddie Gibbs album as well for hip hop fans. Those two albums for me have been on repeat.
Yeah, I both Clips and Freddie Gibbs. Also put the new JID for hip hop.
JID too.
As for within our little realm of music, Jeff, Fox Lake, Pale Dusk, their new album is super fun. A little band called Wilt Wither put out an album called Pure Light that is just nuts. If you like Johnny Booth, you'll probably like that. As far as beyond our little scene here, the new Danny Brown album. If you like hip hop and you like weird things, you gotta check out the new Danny Brown album. It is awesome. Very interesting to hear hyperpop rap, but it works, and it works in only a way that he can get away with.
Yeah. New Lorna Shore. I don't think we've talked about it. I've come back to that a couple times. It's pretty
nasty,
pretty scary, I'd say. My
Scary.
computer just died. Yeah, that's a pretty scary one. Obviously, Emarosa dropped a couple of singles.
Boo.
I'm just kidding. I'm messing around. That's dead.
Boo.
We're done with Emarosa. I'm glad we're done.
Excommunicated. Anyways, our patrons. If you want to support us, you can check us out on Patreon. Our diehard tier donors, I asked them to send me their top 5 albums of the year. I said, if we're doing it, shoot, you can too. So we're going to get right into this because it is getting very late in real time as we're recording this. So this first list is from Derek, and these are his top 5 albums.
All right, end of the year, album of the year rankings. In last place, Weaponize Your Rage by Not Enough Space. In fourth place, Hymns of Dissonance by Whitechapel. In third place, Vamp by Magnolia Park. The runner-up, Creature in the Black Night by Dayseeker. And my album of the year is 0 Point Genesis by The Pretty Wild. Cheers, boys.
I love that not a single one of those albums was something we talked about.
Hymns of Dissonance by Whitechapel that is also
that's some good stuff
that I enjoyed. Yeah, that's a good honorable mention one for me.
I'm a Whitechapel enjoyer.
Kyle, I think you would like that Magnolia Park album too. They're a very pop punk kind of thing.
I'm sure I would.
This next one is from Seth.
My top 5 albums for this year. At number 5 is Idola's Mend. Number 4, True North's Either Way, The Sun's Exploding. At number 3, Dreamwake, The Lost Years. At number 2, Thousand Below, Buried in Jade. And at number 1, welcome back, My Ticket Home with Pure to a Fault.
My Ticket Home put out an album this year? Am I really sleeping on that? I'm about to find out, because that would be a crazy miss on my part.
They
sure did.
It came out like 2 weeks ago. Damn it.
Dang it. No. Strangers Only is such a ripper.
So
And
good, dude.
Unreal was ahead of its time.
Unreal
If people
was
listen
good
to
as well.
Unreal now, they would love it.
Frick, dude.
Sorry, Seth.
Thanks, Seth.
We let you down personally, but thank you for raising awareness on our end, because we are dumb. This next list is from Lucas.
In 5th place, I have Imperium Delirium by Shadow of Intent. In 4th place, I have Thy Kingdom Come by Suicide Boys. In 3rd place, I have Salvation Laughs in the Grieving Face of a Mother by Psycho Frame. In 2nd place, I have Clockworked by Stray from the Path. And in 1st place, I have Hymns and Dissonance by Whitechapel. Thank you.
That top 3 was peak. Psycho Frame, Stray from the Path,
so
Whitechapel.
Shout out to Suicide Boys too. Yeah, that's one I've been listening to
kind
this
of a
year.
crazy pull. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What a list. This is a harder segment than I'd anticipated, because obviously everyone has such different music tastes. They're ripping off albums that I haven't heard, didn't even know released apparently. And so I'm like, man, I want to talk about this list, but it's just music that now I have to go check out. Except for that top 3, which was excellent, exquisite even. And so this last one is from Nathaniel. Here's his top 5.
Happy holidays, everybody. Here's my top 5 albums from an incredibly stacked 2025. Number 5, Tsunami Sea by Spirit Box. 4, Clockworked by Stray from the Path. 3, Keep It Quiet by Greyhaven. 2, Lonely God by Fit for a King. And my favorite album of the year was Big Ol' Album Volume 1 by A Day to Remember. I look forward to you guys roasting me in 2026.
That can't be real. He has to be doing that because of that list was great up until
that list was incredible, and then he like tripped across the finish line and face planted right in front of it.
That's not. Hey, it goes back to the personality of that album. It's tongue in cheek. It's ironic. There's no way he actually feels that way. Like genuinely. All right, that's fine. Whatever.
You don't think there are any true A Day to Remember fans?
I think I'm a true A Day to Remember fan.
Yeah, and being a fan of something means you have to like whatever they put out, regardless of actual quality. So, Kyle, I don't know if you are a true A Day to Remember fan.
No, but I'm just saying, like, there are people I still think that like their new stuff that's coming out.
Yeah, there are. I will shout out that Tsunami Sea reference.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Shout out Spirit
That's
Box.
a good one. That list was 4 great albums, and then a big ol' album.
Volume 1.
A big ol' album, Volume 1. That's wild. I love that. Well, guys, another year in the books. Thank you so much for listening to this absolute marathon if you've made it to the end. And we will see you on the next one.